further ado, let us introduce you to our first moderator, Mrs. Nilate Jamaya SSD MOHS Ph.D, Bachelor Degree of Chemistry, Universitas Indonesia, Master Degree of Occupational Health Safety, University of Adelaide, Ph.D. in Environment Health and Risk Management. She is also Head of Occupational Safety and Health Graduate Program in Faculty of Public Health and Head of Occupational Safety Health Laboratory in Faculty of Public Health. To Mrs. Nilate Jamaya SSD MOHS Ph.D, please come to the stage.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. Sebelumnya terima kasih kepada Kepala yang telah mengassign saya sebagai moderator. So I would like to invite Dr. Peck as well to accompany me here. Okay, I would like to read Dr. Peck Thian Guan curriculum vitae, a short one. He is the Director of Office of Safety, Health and Environment, National University of Singapore. And then his educational background from chemistry, since bachelor until PhD. Yeah. For his bachelor in chemistry from National University of Singapore, as well as Master of Science. And then he finished Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry from University of Hull, United Kingdom. So I think to introduce you, that's quite enough.
Yes.
Maybe I will invite you to give your speech.
Thank you.
How long? Sorry, but 1 hour? 1 hour presentation.
All right, thank
Please
you.
welcome. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can start with applause. Big applause for Mr. Peck.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'd like to thank you for inviting me first to the Global Collaborators Forum yesterday and to be able to share with you what we are doing with regards to occupational health and safety at the National University of Singapore and later on crisis management as well. Just an introduction to the National University of Singapore before I go into details about the safety and health management system. As in all university, our mission is to educate, inspire, and to transform. And that is because we have new students every year, and our mission is really to change them into professionals. And this is also in line with our safety mission. Our mission is to be a leading global university shaping the future. We have 17 faculties and schools, and we offer multiple educational pathways for our students. It's on a modular system, and basically they can pick and choose a curriculum, an educational pathway that suits them. We have overseas colleges, we have student exchange program, and our aim is to have 100% of our students to have an overseas experience in the next few years to come. We have 4 research centers of excellence. These are funded at the national level, and 30 research institutes and centers. Our discipline, our focus is on these core 8 research clusters, mainly dealing with issues which pertains to Asia and issues which are relevant to Singapore. So in particular, like aging, Asian studies, sciences, finance, risk management, integrated sustainability solutions, maritime material science, and the latest being IT and smart nation. Now going on to the overview of safety and health management in NUS. The slide here shows a very schematic representation of our organizational structure. The boxes in blue shows the hierarchy of the organization or the university. Starting right at the top, we have the president, the deputy president, then we have the deans, the heads of departments, and at the lab level, we have the principal investigators. My office is represented by the green boxes, the safety and health and environmental office. We have safety officers, which are deployed out of the office into the faculties to assist the faculties. In the middle are the yellow boxes or the orange boxes. We have the institutional committees. These are drawn from the academic staff. Right at the top, we have the institutional total workplace safety and health committee. Later, I'll show you the composition of that committee. That committee is the highest level. That committee advises the senior management, the president, the deputy presidents on safety and health matters, as well as a sounding board for us as we roll out our policies. At the next level, we have the faculties or the department or the research centers safety and health committee. These are again drawn from the faculties, and they advise the deans on various matters, safety and health matters pertaining to their respective faculties. And at the department level, the departments also have their safety and health committees. And at the lab level, the principal investigators would have a small group of people to work on safety and health matters. So as you can see, we have a system that goes from the top right down to the lab level. At the highest level, we have we roll out safety and health management program. At the faculty level, they also have a safety and health management system. Department level, the same thing, as well as at the lab level. These are the institutional committee, the composition. At right at the top, we have the Risk Management Steering Committee, headed by our President, Professor Thian. There are several areas of risk, and 3 areas are under my charge. One is safety and health. So we report to that committee on safety and health indicators. Crisis management is also another key risk, and students at risk is also the third area. So there are several risk areas which are monitored at the university level, of which 3 of them our office have a key role to play. The next level is the Safety and Health Management Committee. The chairman is the Senior Vice President of Campus Infrastructure. The Safety and Health Management Committee draws from the 3 clusters: the research cluster, the admin cluster, and the academic cluster. And at this committee, we will discuss in greater detail the safety and health management of the university. The next level down, we have 2 discipline-specific committees. One deals with biosafety, because that is prescribed by the law. And the next one is on lab safety. So biosafety deals with all biosafety issues, and all the other lab issues are being dealt with by the Institutional Lab Safety Committee. And each one of them is headed by a senior academic staff. An overview of the Office of Safety, Health and Environment. Our office is the corporate office managing safety and health at the National University of Singapore. We are also in charge of crisis management and business continuity. We have also laid out our mission and our vision. Our mission is really about saving lives, preventing injuries, and ensuring business continuity. But we do not do that ourselves. We do that through facilitating and trying to pass that message down to the whole of the university community so that they can own safety too. So we do so by transforming the mindset and facilitating in the implementation and adoption of safety best practices. And our vision is to be a safe and disaster resilient university where safety, health and environmental protection and emergency preparedness is embraced as core values. So we want to go beyond just making the university safe. We want to make sure that our staff and in particular our students, they understand the importance of safety and health, emergency preparedness, crisis management, so that when they graduate, when they go out into industry, they will be able to make an impact. Not just to industry, but as well as being safe at home. We want them to take home that safety message. Next time, the homes will be safe, the workplace will be safe, and the whole nation will be a much better, safer place. We have also laid out a strategic map, a strategic plan, what we hope to do and what we hope to achieve. Very key in this strategic map is our customer service. One of the key areas here is our service excellence. We know that safety and health is not something people enjoy to do, but it's necessary. So we want to make it a delightful experience for them to put in place safety measures. We don't want to come across as a policeman with a big stick. If you don't do it, I'm going to hammer you. Not that. Okay, so we train our staff that when they serve the customers, so we view the students, the faculty members as our customers. We are here because of them. We want to make sure that they have a good experience when they deal with us. So one key thing here is our service excellence, our commitment to service. My department is divided into two main groups. One is the orange section, which is safety and health management. The other section in blue is the emergency management section. And there are 4 areas each if we look at. In particular, the safety and health management division, we deal mainly with lab safety matters. We have biosafety, so we have a group of people looking at the biomedical departments involved in biomedical teaching and research. The sciences, then we have governance and general safety. These are the people that look at all the other aspects of safety on campus. And we have a group looking at strategic planning. They look ahead, they rule out policy matters which will be needed to put us on the right path. In emergency management division, we have emergency preparedness and crisis management. We have event safety. These are activities that the university will organize. It could be organized by students too. And we have fire safety and lastly, business continuity. Now let me introduce the safety and health management system in NUS. We follow a plan, do, check, act cycle. This is advocated by the International Organization for Standardization, ISO. There are various ISO standards that uses this framework in terms like quality management, environmental management, also occupational health and safety management. So in this framework, we will plan, we will roll out policies, then we will facilitate in the execution of these programs or facilitate the compliance of these policies by the departments by coming up with programs, with aids, with manuals, with IT tools, so that it's easy for the departments to follow and to implement. And if they do not know how to do so, we will provide advisory service. We will talk to them, provide advice to them as to how to perhaps set up a lab, what are the precautions you need to take when you are doing a particular experiment that's out of the ordinary. And lastly, we do audits and inspection to make sure that the systems that has been set up, the policies that have been set up are being followed. There's a range of things are put in place. You may not be able to see from there, but you can make the slides available to you. So in the planning stage, we do roll out, for example, safety KPIs for the deans and directors. So that's we plan, we got senior management to endorse it, and that we roll out. We also help with risk assessment, and overall to the green boxes, we have programs and manuals with IT tools to help to make it easy, so we don't need to fill in forms and pass the forms from one person to another form. We use an IT system to help us to do that. So the management system of every lab is tracked in the IT system. All the risk assessments are in the IT system. And all your audits, inspection, training records of your staff or students, they are all captured in the IT system. So we facilitate that, so it's easy for people to do it. We have inspection now onto the purple box. We have unannounced inspection. We have night inspection. We want to really check at night when nobody is watching. Are the students really following procedures? Do they put on their PPE when they do their work? So we do surprise check. We really inform the dean and somebody from the faculty. Together with us, we will go about at night to inspect. So to summarize, we have policy formulation, we have safety programs and IT supporting services, we provide advisory service, and we carry out audits and inspection. This is a slide which shows typically what we do in a year. We would have about 40 over training courses, we would issue newsletter articles to inform people, we would have carried out certification of the labs. At any one time, we go through a 3-year cycle. At any one time, about 98% of the principal investigators that would have a valid certification. The other 2% would be the new people coming in who have yet to set up the standard. We would have reviewed about 600 project risk assessments, go through lab design reviews because our campus is still growing and all labs are being retrofitted. We will do design review to make sure it is designed properly and it facilitates safety implementation, adherence to safety requirements when the labs are designed. And we also go about assisting them to conduct fire drills. Now, going from the top now, there's policies. We have safety and health policies at the university level. That's the overarching policy. There's the university safety and health policies. We have the crisis policy, and we have the fire safety policy. These set up what is expected of everybody, what is required of them, so that it is out in the clear. Everybody knows what to expect when they start work at AWS. The next level down, we have the safety directive. The safety directives are rolled out by the institutional committees. The high-level policies are endorsed by the president. The safety directives are endorsed by the chairman of the safety committees. We have the directive on access to and supervision of undergraduates in laboratories. As you know, they do project work and they like to stay beyond the normal hours. Now, what is the guidance? Now, what is required of them to be able to stay beyond the normal hours if they were to do their project work in the lab or workshops? We have a directive on authorized access to the laboratory. So basically, you need to take the safety induction first before you can get access to the labs. We have also a directive on students working in non-NUS organizations. We have internship. We have students going out to industry, being attached to industry to do their work, to do their training. We have a directive on that. So basically, we are saying that if it's the supervisor's responsibility to make sure the students are safe when the student goes out to join the industry to work. And some industry have higher safety standards. Some companies may not have so high a standard, and if we send our students to those companies, we put our students at risk. So the students must also know their right. If they see something that is not too safe, something that goes against their training, their safety training in school, they are supposed to report to their supervisors. They are not supposed to blindly go ahead and do. So we have the last one is supervisory training responsibility. A supervisor is expected to know what their staff or their students go through. So if they do not know, they have to go through the necessary training. We put everything in our website, our intranet. In the past, we used to publish hard copy, but with internet, e-service, e-platform becoming so readily available and so accessible, we have migrated all our manuals into the electronic format. These are the programs that we embark on. In the area of safety and health, we look at biological safety, chemical safety, radiation safety, construction safety. There's a lot of construction going on campus, so we have a program to basically guide the facilities department or the Office of Estates and Development to how to go about doing construction safety, how to manage the contractors. We have also researchers going out in the field to do research, and some of them could be in the region, some of them could be doing survey of ecology, they could be doing diving. So we have a few research projects. We have diving safety, we have something on first aid and first aiders. Now dealing more with the office, we have office safety and ergonomics program, physical safety and something on general lab safety. And the last thing that we are going into is total workplace safety and health. Well-being, health, and workplace safety are interrelated. And we are just embarking on total workplace safety and health. The other blue side is on crisis management, and I'll talk about that in my second presentation. In training, we have a 3-tier level training. All staff, all students are supposed to go through the necessary safety induction. If you go into the lab, you have a lab safety induction program. You need to watch a video, a simple video, to tell you what you ought to be looking out for before they are granted access to the lab. The next level of training is called our core modules. It's got to do with the type of work that you're doing in the lab. If you're dealing with chemicals, then you have to attend the chemical safety training. If you're dealing with biological agents, then you have to go for the biosafety training, and so on and so forth. And the next one is the add-on modules. If you're dealing with chemicals, but you deal with something a bit more specialized, you deal with hydrofluoric acid, you deal with chlorofluoric chemicals, you go for this add-on training. And last level of training are the specialized training based on the appointment. Fire wardens are given training as to how to discharge the fire warden duties, and fire safety coordinators are likewise given the same type of specialized training, because these are all added special responsibilities that start to the individual. Supporting the implementation of safety programs, we have various tools in place. The first one, right at the top, is the online regulated materials identifier. Is to help the researchers identify which chemicals are regulated. It's becoming more and more complex because certain chemicals is not specified in regulation, but the chemical nature or the structure is just mentioned in the regulation. So we have to interpret that and come up with a list of chemicals. The list is growing and is becoming more and more challenging to maintain that database. But it's a useful database, so it's to help researchers to make sure that when they do their work, they're not sure whether what they're dealing with is regulated or not. Go and check it out. We provide the information for you to do that. The next system, we call it EHS 360. That's the overall system of management, IT system that we use to help the PIs manage safety in the lab. They can put the risk assessment in the system, they can put the training records in the system, they put the SOPs in the system. Everything that you need to do to manage your lab can go into the system. Your audit findings are also in the system, all the follow-ups are also in the system. Accidents and incidents are also tracked using the system. So when it's time for audit, the auditor will go into the system, look through the documents in there, look through the performance, look through the records, and we'll be able to carry out the audit in a very smooth way. The next example we have is a lab sign generator. Every lab will have a signage in front at the door. The sign will tell you what are the hazards in there, what are the PPE that's required, that you're required to put on before you can enter the lab, and emergency contact numbers. Before we came out with this software, the signages were in all sorts of color and shapes and sizes, and there was no standardization. So to make it easy, we came out with this software. And what is required is that somebody appointed by the lab to go in, key in the data, and then press print, and then it comes out as a standard print poster that we can put on the door. The other software that we have is the integrated online research compliance system. For projects, they undergo various reviews. One review is by food safety, the other review is by if you use animals, then it will be ICOOC, IACUC, Institutional Animal Care and Use Committee. But basically the information that we use is more or less the same. There's commonality. So instead of asking the researcher to fill in two sets of forms, we have the system, they fill in once, and the reviewers would look into the system to pull out the necessary information, and then they can go ahead and do. These are some examples of the software that we have. I mentioned about the EHS 360. We have the accident and incident management system, in which accidents are reported through this system. It could be anywhere on campus. You can access it very readily and input just essential data, and our staff will just follow up with you. The second one is the workplace information registry. That's the one I discussed about. It has all the information about a PI's lab or workshop or workplace. In audits and inspection, that's the third one. That's the one which contains all the audit findings, and lastly, training, which is the training records. We have promotional programs, we have conferences to spread the word, to inform the community about best practices so that they can learn from each other. And Prof. Fatma and the team has attended some of these conferences. We also organize a conference in conjunction with the Asian Conference on Safety and Health Education in laboratories. It's a regional initiative, and there was a year in which it was held in Singapore. It was also held in here in UE, and next year it will also be held here again. So we look forward to your participation next year. It's a time where the safety and health people, academic staff, students will attend this conference to learn from each other, from the region. We have participants from Japan, Korea, Singapore, Brunei, Indonesia, coming together to share. So we are firm supporter of sharing information. We strongly believe in it, and there was a year where it was held in Singapore, and we strongly support it. We also have awards, fire safety awards. We want to make safety and health a delightful experience. So we reward people for their good work. We try, as far as possible, not to use the stick. We want to use the carrot to encourage good behavior, to encourage good performance, and it's proven to be very, very helpful and successful. I mentioned about the fire safety audits and inspection. So if they're done well, they get rewarded. They get a pat on the back. They get the staff, the people who do the work will receive a certificate, receive some incentives. They get a photo taken with the president of the university. So it's a big boost to the morale. For the crisis management portion, we also have sharing amongst the crisis leaders. They learn from each other, and we do not want to meet in the crisis room only during a crisis. And we find that if we are strangers, we don't really talk the same language. So we have meeting at least once a year just to keep in touch with one another and to share lessons learned. The promotional programs, I mentioned about the awards. We do inspections, we do lab inspections, we do now migrated to a department level audit. So the department is supposed to take greater ownership, and we reward the head of the department for the good work that the department has done. So shown here are the award given by the president to the two departments that have done very well. The Excellence Award and the next year award presentation is handed by the Deputy President. We issue newsletter to inform the community on new initiatives as well as accidents and incidents, not just happening in my university, but also happening elsewhere in the world, so that we all can learn from each other. Safety promotion, we try to encourage a bottom-up approach. We form what we call communities of practice. This is to encourage greater ownership of issues. So handling pyrophoric chemicals is not that common, but we have a group of people in chemistry, in those people doing photovoltaic cells, photovoltaic panels, the vapor fabrication type of research. They deal with pyrophoric chemicals. So we encourage them, a group, to form what we call community of practice. They come together and they discuss issues which relate to them. The other one is management of emergency power supply. Alright, so we have batteries that's being charged, and sometimes you get fire. So what sort of challenges do they? What are some of the best practices that they need to learn? They take this opportunity to share with each other. And the bottom-up approach is that we get undergraduates, we get departments to come up with safety videos. Bottom-up, they find that there's something that they need to do, they get together, they get it done. So with that, we get greater ownership. We provide advice. If you do not know how to do it, come to us. We may not know how to do it, but we explore together with you. We tap our network. We call somebody outside the university that we know, perhaps that's an expert in this field that we personally do not have the expertise. But if we do, we are able to consult, we are able to give you advice. So we do things like industrial hygiene monitoring, radioactive material collection, reviews, design reviews before a project, a capital project is being constructed. We go through the reviews to make sure that all safety measures are being taken care of in the design. Students do come to us when they organize activities. They do not know what to look out for when they go on field trips, what to do when they encounter a crisis. So they come to us and we advise them, we talk to them, we give them inputs as to what they need to look out for. Audits. We have a certification scheme where we go around, we audit each and every PI. In 6 months of their joining the university, they will be audited once. And thereafter, if they do well, then we'll audit them once every 3 years. In the past, when we first introduced the scheme, it was yearly audit. And we find that things are stabilized, people know how to go about doing things, and There's safety ownership. We increase it to once every 2 years, and now we're doing it once every 3 years. We have 2 documents. One is a requirement document, which tells you what is required of you. The other document is a guidance document, what you need to do, some examples. We have it for the academic supervisors, and we also have another set of systems for the departments. So we built from ground up. We started off with the individual labs, the PIs are supposed to have a management system. Then we find that there are common areas, shared facilities which are not managed. So we also want greater ownership by the department. So the departments now are required to have a safety and health management system, and they will kind of provide the oversight to the individual PIs as well as those common areas which are under the head's management. Inspections. We carry out several types of inspections. One is required by the law. The law governs the storage of petroleum and flammable materials in the university. There's a certain limit that every building can store, beyond which you need extra facilities. So we make sure that that limit is being adhered to. All labs have a certain quota. This is to keep below that limit. We are in the process of putting in an automated inventory system. But before that, we do once a year audit, once a year inspection, to make sure that the quantity of petroleum and flammable materials are kept within the regulated limit. We do annual fire safety inspections, and we do that in conjunction sometimes with our fire brigade, the Singapore Civil Defence Force. They will do joint inspection with us. It's for the firefighters to know our facility, so in case of fire, they will know how to respond. And for us also to make sure that our facilities are kept safe. With regards to biosafety, we have regulations that deal with veterinary biologics. There are certain systems that we need to put in place to use those agents, and also concerning antivirus vector facilities. So these are very specific to people dealing with those agents. Lastly, our relationship with our key partners. We have a collaboration in Singapore in which all the safety and health directors of 6 universities, 5 polytechnics, 2 research clusters, 2 hospital clusters come together and share best practices. We tackle issues which are common to us. We are universities, we are education institutions, so we face the same challenges. They have labs, we have labs. They deal with petroleum materials, flammable materials. We also deal with petroleum and flammable materials. We do biological agents, we also have biological agents. So let's get together and share best practices. So we have a group that meets regularly. We try to learn from each other, and we try to level up to the highest standard as quickly as possible. So one of the projects we did was we looked at harmonization of our safety training. So that a researcher, after having attended a safety training in, for example, NTU, Nanyang Technological University, when he comes over to my university to use the facility, he need not undergo the training again because he's been trained to the same standard. And likewise for the other participating institutions as well. So that will facilitate the movement of staff from one research institution to another without having to undergo the training all over again. So as you know, there's a lot of cross-research people who move around. We have the people from the hospital, from the medical faculty coming to from the hospital coming to our school of medicine to do research. So if they are already trained to the same standard, they need not undergo the training again. So it saves time and effort. And we also make sure that we all are trained to the same standard, the same higher standard. And for the institutions that have not had this training, when they join the scheme, they can very quickly attain the standard without having to reinvent the wheel. We have relations with our international partners. We have partners in the US, in the UK, and shown here. I'm sure you can recognize who's in the picture, right? So yeah, we do have exchanges very regularly, and we're very happy to be part of this network. So in conclusion, now what's the challenge that we are facing? Now there's a lot of emerging technologies. In particular, for us, we have drones. We have a large push for photovoltaic cells, adoption on campus. We have researchers going into that area, using the campus as a living laboratory to try out all these new wonderful things. We also have what we call maker space. We want students to explore. We want students to, we give them space and time and resources to tinker with things. But with that comes, again, the challenges. What are the safety challenges when we deal with drones? What are safety challenges when you have to install PV on the roof of our buildings? When it comes to maintenance, when it comes to being up there, researchers to do research on the roof, they're not construction people. They may not have the basic training on working at heights, unlike the people from the construction industry, but the photovoltaic cells are on the roof. They have to assess, they have to deal with that. We have to also worry about, in case of fire, electricity and water doesn't quite agree, and we have to make sure our responders know how to deal with a fire on the roof with regards to fire dealing with photovoltaics. Given the students, we have an emergence of a lot of maker space in buildings, in departments that traditionally are not involved in in materials of a hazardous nature. They're now going into more of these areas. So for example, like computing. In the past, our school of computing, when you think about that school, it's all about desktop PCs. But now they're tinkering with drones and robots and all that. It's part of computing, part of the technological advances. So we have a new group of people that we have not looked at in the past. We have always been looking at labs, red labs. Now we have a group of students doing fabrication work. We have not been paying attention to this in the past, this group of people in the past. Now we have to pay attention to them. So these are the growing, emerging challenges that we are facing. Where are we now in terms of safety? This is a curve, this is a schematic representation of the DuPont Bradley curve, which shows the accident rates go down as your safety system matures. Right at the top, people are on the left-hand side, where incident rates are high. People do safety or manage safety through instinct. They do what comes naturally. Or sometimes what comes naturally may not be too safe. So you have, by natural instinct is by reactive. Then, next thing, you get supervised. Somebody tells you what to do. You obey that supervision. Accident rates will go down. The next stage is self-directed. You know it's good for you. You direct it yourself. You gain knowledge, and with that, accident rates go down further. And next level is team. You become interdependent. You watch out for each other, and accident rates will go down further. Where are we now? Okay, we started off way up there. I think we're somewhere between self and team. We're not there yet. Okay, every year we have new students coming in, we have new staff coming in. We have to remind them of how they ought to carry out their work on campus. So to This goes into the area of culture. What is culture? Culture, put it in a very simple way, is the way we do things here. So, the American Chemical Society came up with a very good application, creating safety cultures in academic institutions. And we are following the guidelines in that document. And the gist of it is summarized here. The goal of a strong safety culture in an academic institution is the administrators, faculty and staff who care strongly about safety, who have strong knowledge of safety, who teach safety to their students throughout the curriculum and promote safety through their leadership, and they lead by example. So safety becomes part and parcel of the way we do things. Safety is not an add-on, but it's integral to the way we do things, the way courses are being designed, for example. So it's for everybody, administrators, faculty and staff. Every one of us must care about safety, must have strong knowledge, and we teach safety throughout the curriculum. And safety is not an add-on, but the keyword is throughout the curriculum. Then only will we get a strong safety culture. It's a very good document. Can somebody else please? Next slide, please. Can you do a page down for me, please? Okay, that's all. So to summarize, we have gone through quite a long journey. It's been quite an exciting journey for us in safety and health development in NUS. We started off from a very low base where we had a lot of accidents, fires, and you'll hear about it when crisis talk later. But we have followed certain guiding principles advocated by the safety experts. We have followed, for example,
Arti bahasanya
more
pengamat
practical, we
arti
have followed
boleh
some behavior safety
manualnya.
guiding principles, and put in place a system that is now pretty stable. But it's still work in progress. We are still not there yet. We are still working on strengthening our culture. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It was really nice sharing about your well-established occupational health and safety management system in NUS. I think University of Indonesia, we will learn a lot new from these experiences. So it starts with establishing the system and then communication as well by using IT system. And then you mentioned about learn from each other, either from the meeting or both meeting and conferences, as well as networking with other universities, including University of Indonesia, inspection, and then giving some advices. I think more or less has been done by Prof. Fatma and team in University of Indonesia as well, quite similar. But before question and answer, I think there will be advertisement.
Token for appreciation for speaker and moderator will be delivered by Professor Hana Batir, Head of Academic Quality Assurance, Universitas Indonesia.
Professor Hannah, please come to the stage.
Okay, now we come to the question and answer session. If you have any question, I would like to collect some question from the audience. Ada pertanyaan, Bapak Ibu? Atau ada yang mau disampaikan saja? Oke, silakan. Jangan lupa nama dan dari mana ya, Pak?
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Emegency. I'm from Risk Management Unit of the University of Indonesia. At the beginning, you explained about PDCA cycle, and you mentioned about risk assessment. My questions: is your office in charge for setting risk assessment? And then, is this risk assessment the same with the term we call enterprise risk management? And how you make this risk assessment putting well established in your IT system? And my last questions, at the end you explained about safety culture in NUS. I assume, if I'm not mistaken, that this safety culture, this safety has been already a culture, if I'm not mistaken. And could you please explain briefly how to make this safety becomes the culture, except just through the curriculum? Is there another ways NUS already done to make the safety becomes the culture? Thank you.
Okay, just let me recap. You asked many questions. One is on risk assessment, right? At enterprise risk as well as project risk. What's the difference, right? And the next question is on the safety culture. Okay, so risk assessment is done at several levels. At the enterprise risk, there's a higher level of survey to look at all the risks which affects the university in a strategic way. Okay, so that's enterprise risk assessment. So we have done the enterprise risk assessment. We came up with 8 or 9 risk areas, of which 3 of them I mentioned earlier. One is safety and health, business continuity, or crisis management. As a risk, if you don't do it, it will impact the university. And third one is students getting injured. So these are the 3 of the risk of the 8 or 9 risk areas that we have. That is done at a enterprise level. You take a step back from the university and you see now what's the environment that the university is functioning in and what are the risks involved. So that is at the strategic level. At the project level, you drill down to the to really the details. You look at the activities that you do, and from each activity you look at the hazards. From the hazards you look at the controls that you have in place, and then you assess the risk. And if it's still not acceptable, then you put in additional control measures. So that is done at the operational level. So at the enterprise risk, you look at the strategic risk. At the project level, even at the department or research project, you look at more the operational risk. So they are done at different levels. Going on to safety culture. We're still struggling with a measurement tool. There's no university agreed
definition of safety culture. What constitutes positive safety culture? How do you objectively measure safety culture? There are certain tools being advocated, but they are all different. And I've still not come across one which kind of unifies everything. So we are trying to do what we think is correct. And in my view, there are a few things you need to put in place to sort out the safety culture. One is, for culture to take place, you need to have meaning and purpose. For example, you want to convince people that it is safe, or safety is the right way to go, is the right culture that you want to have. There must be meaning and purpose. People must buy into it. So our message to the academic community is that we're training people for the industry. We're going to be industry leaders. You don't want them to graduate from the university, go into industry, and still be ignorant about safety. Safety is good for you because you're going to save just lives on campus. You're not going to, by and large, the hazards on campus are not serious compared to industry. So if you're in civil engineering department, next time you go and work in construction. In civil engineering department, actually the risk is not too serious. But when you are out there as a professional, you don't do your work properly, people are going to get hurt. You may not get hurt, but your people may get hurt. So we sell that mission and purpose. With that, I think the academic community believe and they understand and they bought into this mission and purpose. So it becomes something that they think is logical, something that is worthwhile doing, they have a higher chance of doing it. So, mission and purpose first. Second thing is there must be vertical alignment. Vertical alignment, that means the president says it's important, deputy president says it's also important, the dean says it's important, the heads of department says it's important, everybody says it's important. That's alignment. Okay. Next thing is horizontal alignment. All your processes must support each other. So how does HR support safety? How does finance support safety? How does facility support safety? How does student housing support safety? Once you have that, then you have a higher chance of safety being incorporated as part and parcel of the way we do things. So what's happening in NUS is this. When a PI, when somebody joins the academic department, before he gets his grant release, he must set up his management system. He gets audited, he must do his risk assessment first. Right? He need not have the full grant release yet, but he must at least do his risk assessment first. Then the grant gets released, then he can start work. Okay, so that's how finance is integrated with safety. How is HR integrated with safety? Our deans and directors have safety KPIs, key performance indicators. At the end of the year, when they do their appraisal, they have to tell the president, what have I done for safety? They must do something visible to promote safety in the department. He must write it down. So that's how HR is aligned with safety. How is student affairs related to safety? You make sure that students, when you embark on a student-related project, it could be hiking, it could be camping, it could be games or whatever, they must incorporate safety planning and crisis planning before they get the endorsement to carry out the project. So that's how we try to link the various things together. So we have mission and purpose, we have vertical alignment, we have horizontal alignment, and next one is plan, do, check, act. You do not know everything right from the start. So you learn. You plan as much as possible, you execute your plan, then you check whether your plans are being executed properly. And after that you review to see whether your plans are being robust. Are you planning for the right thing? So PDCA, and you improve as you go along. So you have mission and purpose, meaning and purpose, vertical alignment, horizontal alignment, plan, do, check, act, and lastly will be incentives and disincentives. Incentives, you mentioned, if you do right, you do well, you get rewarded. But if you don't do well, especially negligence, okay, then you must be counseled. This is the model that I've been working on, and I think it has helped to improve safety culture. But I'm still struggling with a measurement tool, right, to objectively measure how safety has progressed over the years. Anecdotally, I think we can see that things have improved, because when we do night inspection from another building, I could look through over the courtyard into the other building, and you can see somebody working there alone, but he has his PPE on. Nobody is telling him to put it on. He's working there at night, about 11 p.m. or so. He's on his own, he has his PPE on, and nobody's after him. So we know that from these anecdotal experiences, some level, that message has gone down to the ground. But like what I say, we're still very, very far from achieving the desired standard. It's still work in progress.
Thank you, Dr. Peck. Sudah cukup terjawab? How about the IT? Integrating the system into IT.
Okay, so we have various IT programs. The EHS 360 is something that we bought off the shelf with some customization. It has the risk assessment part is still not automated yet. Okay, so we still do risk assessment using the 5x5 metrics, and then we just upload it to the system. The system does provide a form of risk assessment, but we're not adopting it. But if you want to, you can look at it, and it has some, because we started a long time ago on a certain thing, and so many, large portion of the university has already adopted that we don't want to change everything. Okay, but the system does provide a risk assessment, a platform to do risk assessment. So the IT system is quite useful to automate things, it helps to route things around so that you don't need to shuffle papers and send emails and track, do manual tracking and all that. So the system does capture all that for us. So we have an IT system to help us.
Any questions? Ada lagi pertanyaan, Bapak Ibu? Ya, silakan.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Devi from Program M.Si. I just curious about crisis management from your institutional experience. What kind of example crisis management ever done in your institution or ever experienced crisis management from your institutional experience? What kind of example about crisis management ever done or ever experienced in your institution?
Thank you, Prof. So your question is about crisis management. I think we will have that section later after coffee break. Yeah, for the next session. Yeah. So hold on, wait a minute. Any other question? Sudah cukup? So I think I will just wrap up our discussion this morning. Mungkin sebagai kesimpulan Bapak Ibu, I will give Fatma. According to the presentation this morning, ada dua benefit dari kita pada saat kita mengimplementasikan SMS di dalam kampus. Mr. Peck tadi menjelaskan yang pertama adalah menjamin keselamatan, kesehatan semua sivitas akademika, dan yang kedua adalah kita membuat agent of change, membuat anak-anak kita, mahasiswa kita aware tentang safety. Jangan sampai begitu masuk ke dunia kerja melangak lagi ya safety. Kalau di kampus kita sudah terbiasa membudayakan K3 di rumah tangga, di tempat kerja, di komunitas, they will practice safety knowledge and safety behavior. I think that's the most important thing. So we teach the student not only to build up their safety culture within the university, but after that they will encounter community, workplaces, their own family probably. I think that's the most important point. Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Round applause, big applause for our presenter. Thank you so much. Saya kembalikan kepada MC. Terima kasih.
Kemudian untuk penanya tadi dari Ibu Emery, dipersilakan maju, kami punya hadiah buat Ibu. Saya mohon kesediaannya Ibu Dr. Devi untuk memberikan hadiah bagi penanya. Oke, untuk penanya kedua, Dr. Anis mohon kesediaannya untuk memberikan hadiah kepada penanya kedua. Okay, the next session will be Occupational Safety and Health Environment Management System in Universitas Indonesia. Will be delivered by Profesor Fatma, and the moderator will be Ibu Mila Tejawaya. Please come to the stage.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dibuka lagi. Tadi sudah ditutup. Baik, Bapak Ibu sekalian, sesi selanjutnya adalah presentasi dari Profesor Lestari yang saya rasa tidak perlu diperkenalkan lagi, mungkin semua sudah kenal ya. Very famous in Universitas Indonesia. Beliau adalah profesor dalam bidang K3 dari Fakultas Kesehatan Masyarakat Universitas Indonesia. Saat ini menjabat sebagai Direktur K3L di Universitas Indonesia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu atas kehadirannya. Kami punya yel-yel semangat pagi. Boleh dong teman-teman semuanya ikutan ya. Gak usah, sambil duduk aja, gak apa-apa. Bu Yuni mau berdiri. Oh iya boleh. Sambil berdiri Bapak Ibu sekalian peregangan. Yeah. Please stand up everybody. Kita semangat pagi dulu ya. Oke, sudah berdiri semua. Baik. Semangat pagi. Semangat pagi. Alhamdulillah. Terima kasih buat semuanya. Silakan duduk kembali. Baik, kalau tadi kita sudah mendengar sharing dari Dr. Peck Guan selaku Direktur dari K3L-nya M.Si, maka kali ini saya akan menyampaikan sharing sosialisasi tentang pedoman SMK3L Universitas Indonesia. Jadi kita sebenarnya nyontek, jangan bilang-bilang ya, kita nyontek sistem yang ada di MUS, kemudian kita kembangkan pedoman ini, dan kami merencanakan untuk menerapkan sistem yang sama seperti di MUS. Kurang lebih outline-nya seperti ini. Mungkin sebelumnya saya perlu sampaikan juga profil PT K3L, ada sedikit perubahan di dalam struktur organisasi kami. Kemudian definisi tujuan dan penyusunan kebijakan K3L serta kerangka SMK3L UI. Kalau banyak yang sama dari MUS, harap maklum Bapak Ibu karena referensinya juga diambil dari sana. Sorry, can I deliver in Indonesia ya? Oke. Berikut profil kami. visi kami adalah menciptakan kampus UI yang selamat, sehat, asri, dan ramah lingkungan. So Dr. Peck, this is our vision from OSHE to create a safe, healthy, and green campus. Our mission to protect lives, prevent the incident, injury, and environmental protection by developing and building a safety culture. Ini adalah tupoksi kita. Jadi pada dasarnya kami merumuskan draft kebijakan pedoman dari UUD K3L mengelola manajemen risiko K3L. Jadi kalau tadi ada pertanyaan dari Mbak Emri, manajemen risiko untuk enterprise, maka kami bagian atau sebagian dari manajemen risiko. Kalau ini aspeknya adalah tentang K3L. Kemudian mengelola kondisi darurat dan krisis yang mungkin terjadi di kampus UI dan memberikan dukungan dan saran bagi kegiatan belajar mengajar, riset, kegiatan lab, bengkel agar berlangsung secara selamat, sehat, dan ramah lingkungan. Saat ini kami sedang melaksanakan kampanye Zero Plastik. Jadi Bapak Ibu nanti kalau lihat ada warna hijau ini adalah kampanye kita Zero Plastik. Pinnya sudah tersedia, ada bentuk pin, ada bentuk stiker ya. Mungkin bisa berdiri Mbak Elvi dan Mas Panji yang dari konsultan kita untuk Zero Plastik, boleh? Nah ini dari konsultan kita Mbak Mas Panji dan Mbak Elvi, terima kasih. Terima kasih dong. Mengapa program ini kita awali Zero Plastik ini? Karena ternyata jutaan kilo atau jutaan ton plastik ini terdapat di lingkungan kita dan tidak dapat terdegradasi. Bahkan ekosistem di laut sudah mulai terganggu karena tumpukan plastik yang termakan oleh hewan-hewan di laut. Sehingga kami berdasarkan arahan dan instruksi dari Bapak Rektor segera memulai kampanye Zero Plastik di kampus UI. Jadi kalau Bapak Ibu sekalian mungkin sekarang ini pimpinan sudah memulai dengan penggunaan gelas yang diisi refill untuk meeting-meeting pimpinan. Gradually, perlahan-lahan kita akan mulai menghilangkan penggunaan plastik, termasuk juga kantin-kantin di UI kami akan dorong untuk tidak menjual kemasan dalam botol plastik. Mudah-mudahan bisa didukung. Kemudian fungsi kami adalah sebagai berikut. Kami bertugas menyusun program, prosedur, dan juga penyelenggara pelatihan terkait dengan K3L, memberi saran, promosi, audit, inspeksi, dan pengelolaan insiden, serta berkoordinasi terkait dengan K3L di PAU maupun fakultas. Ini adalah struktur organisasi kami di bawah Wakil Rektor 2. Dan struktur organisasi yang ada di dalam UPT K3L sendiri. This is our organizational structure. Jadi kalau kita lihat dulu ini di bagian bawah ini cuma ada dua, ternyata nggak tembus ya, cuma ada dua koordinator manajemen, yaitu Bu Yuni. Bu Yuni boleh berdiri? Oh, Bu Yuni. Kemudian ada Mbak Devi, koordinator manajemen emergency, boleh berdiri Mbak Devi. Nah, Mbak Devi ini baru diangkat tahun ini, tahun ini baru diangkat menjadi koordinator emergency management. Jadi kami sekarang ada 3 koordinator, Bu Yuni sebagai koordinator manajemen koordinator K3, kemudian Bapak Dr. Anom koordinator manajemen lingkungan, dan Pak Devi koordinator emergency. Kemudian di bawah saya langsung ada staf IT dan humas. Mas Fahmi? Iya, Mas Faris. Iya, Mas Faris ini untuk bagian SDM dan kepegawaian serta training, pendataan training dan sertifikasi untuk karyawan K3L. Kalau Mas Fahmi untuk bagian humas dan promosi K3L. Ini alumni fisik dulu, iya ya? Ya, alumninya Bu Retno. Mahasiswanya Bu Retno. Kemudian ada staf administrasi dan sekretariat. Kemudian di bawah saya ini ada sekitar saat ini 50 staf yang sekarang ini lagi pakai baju kuning semua. Ini adalah staf K3L. Our staff now is 50 Dr. Peck. Our staff with the yellow uniform is my staff. altogether is 50 staff within the university. And also from the faculty, ya, terima kasih Bapak Ibu sekalian dari fakultas yang sudah hadir petugas K3. Ini adalah roadmap kami 2015, masih penguatan sistem dan SDM serta proses sertifikasi. Kemudian 2016 sampai 2018 kami merencanakan implementasi SMK3L di UI dengan pelibatan seluruh pihak, peningkatan kompetensi, pemenuhan standar K3L dan zero plastik ini sebagai bagian dari zero waste dan juga zero incident. Kemudian di tahun 2019 sampai 2020 UI berbudaya K3, safety culture in UI, kemudian UI menjadi role model di Indonesia untuk implementasi K3L dan juga meningkatkan kolaborasi internasional. Jadi kalau tadi Dr. Peck menyampaikan bahwa kami memang banyak belajar, so we thank you very much Dr. Peck and OSHE team that we learned a lot from OSHE and US. And it is very much helpful because we don't have to start from zero. Kita juga mengadop pola yang sama yaitu PDCA, di mana untuk plan kami memulai dengan peraturan rektor, penyusunan kebijakan dari tingkat rektor, kemudian POB dan pedoman serta kaji risiko. Kemudian di dunia kami melaksanakan pelatihan, sosialisasi dan edukasi, promosi K3L, pertemuan rutin petugas K3L, inspeksi, audit, dan safety induction. Untuk safety induction atau induksi K3L, kami saat ini mendorong untuk gedung-gedung atau ruangan-ruangan yang mengakomodir banyak orang, kita membuatkan video safety induction untuk di tingkat UI. Kami juga mengharapkan di tingkat fakultas hal yang sama, untuk safety induction ini bisa juga dibuatkan videonya agar setiap orang yang hadir di situ aware apa yang harus dilakukan jika terjadi keadaan darurat. Kemudian untuk inspeksi dan audit kami melakukan juga rutin, walaupun memang parsial, ya, artinya tidak bisa semua gedung kita lakukan inspeksi, jadi kami sifatnya random. Kemudian juga melakukan inspeksi ke laboratorium, ke fakultas dan juga di tingkat UI, serta inspeksi kantin juga ya Bu Yuni ya, yang juga sertifikasi. Untuk tindak lanjut dari hasil inspeksi dan review ini kami sampaikan juga kepada pimpinan, bahkan kadang-kadang sebelum kami sampaikan sudah ditanya bagaimana hasil inspeksi laboratorium dan bagaimana hasil inspeksi kantin, sehingga kami terus menyampaikan kepada pimpinan. Oke, beberapa dokumentasi kegiatan-kegiatan kami, dan ini waktu itu ada penandatanganan MOU dengan OSHE and US di tahun 2015, di mana kita dapat melakukan misalnya benchmarking. Jadi kita bisa mengirim staff ataupun mengirimkan komite ke MUS dan para pimpinan ke MUS, dan kita sudah melakukan itu di 2016 ya waktu itu ya. Kemudian kita juga bisa meminta mereka menjadi narasumber, so by signing the MOU with MUS, so we can ask them to be our resource person, or we can also benchmark about OSHE to MUS, and also we can attend their trainings. Sometimes they running the trainings, like what they did this year. We attend the crisis management course and also first aid, yeah. And we can also maybe kalau di fakultas Bapak Ibu sekalian merasa perlu untuk belajar sesuatu yang berkaitan dengan K3L di MUS, maka silakan nanti bisa berkomunikasi dan request ke saya. Nanti akan saya mediasi untuk ke sana, maksudnya menghubungkan dengan Dr. Peck. Misalnya dari fakultas ingin belajar lebih lanjut tentang SMK3L di MUS, ini implementasinya seperti apa sih? Silakan, nanti saya akan bantu. Atau barangkali crisis management di MUS ini seperti apa sih? Boleh, nanti akan kita fasilitasi. Ini beberapa pelatihan-pelatihan yang kami berikan dan juga penerapan K3L pada event. We adopt OSHE event, so we implement here bahwa kita menerapkan K3L pada event. Jadi sebelum mereka melaksanakan event, kita meminta mereka untuk yang low risk, misalnya seperti ini di dalam ruangan, kita akan minta mereka melakukan safety induction. Kemudian kalau yang high risk, kita akan minta mereka untuk melakukan pengendalian, misalnya seperti wisuda ataupun kegiatan-kegiatan mahasiswa lainnya. Waktu itu ada yang mau ke Goa terdalam se-Indonesia begitu ya, kita melakukan kaji risiko terlebih dahulu sebelum mereka berangkat dan memastikan peralatan dan personilnya sudah kompeten dan peralatannya standar. Oke, saya masuk ke dalam SMK3L, di mana SMK3L ini kita buat sebagai bentuk organisasi dan sistem kerja terkait dengan aspek K3L. Ruang lingkupnya berlaku untuk seluruh aktivitas yang ada di kampus UI. Kalau ini gambarnya tadi sama dengan yang di NUS, harap maklum kita nyontek abis nih. We copy and adopt NUS framework for Occupational Health and Safety Management System. Jadi kami mulai dari layer paling luar, ini kayak seperti bawah bombay gitu ya. Layer paling luar adalah sistem manajemen K3L di tingkat UI, di mana kita membentuk panitia pembina K3L UI dan petugas K3L UI. Kemudian di tingkat fakultas ada panitia pembina K3L fakultas, ini bisa berisi tentang dosen dan juga tenaga kependidikan, serta ada volunteer mahasiswa. Beberapa fakultas sudah menerapkan seperti misalnya di Fakultas Teknik, kemudian di Fakultas Kedokteran, FKM, dan sekarang lagi proses VIA ya, Mbak Duratma ya. Mudah-mudahan bisa berjalan dengan lancar. Kalau mau benchmark ke NUS nanti saya temenin ya. Kemudian di laboratorium kita juga mengadopsi sistem yang sama, jadi ada pembinanya, kemudian ada petugasnya, dan ada volunteer mahasiswa yang bisa bergantian setiap tahun. Kemudian tanggung jawab dan wewenang K3L, bahwa panitia pembina K3L dari tingkat universitas maupun fakultas serta laboratorium ini merupakan istilahnya adalah kita melibatkan semua pihak atau semua level ke dalam panitia pembina ini. Dosen selaku pengampu mata ajaran maupun kepala laboratorium sebagai penanggung jawab laboratorium menjadi penanggung jawab utama sebagai atau dalam tanda kutip risk owner-nya ya, kalau istilahnya teman-teman dari SMR istilahnya risk owner-nya. Risk owner-nya adalah siapa yang create hazard-nya atau siapa yang create activity-nya, maka itu menjadi risk owner-nya. Kami ingin menjadikan bahwa risk owner-nya adalah yang bertanggung jawab dan berkomitmen untuk mengimplementasikan manajemen risiko untuk aspek K3L ini. Oke, kemudian pembagian tugas dan tanggung jawab dari tingkat rektor, kemudian dekan fakultas, pegawai mahasiswa dan sivitas akademika UI. Oke, kemudian ini struktur organisasi P2K3 di tingkat UI, di mana ketua tertingginya adalah Pak Rektor, kemudian sebagai sekretarisnya adalah saya, dan perwakilan manajemen atau MR itu Bapak Wakil Rektor bidang 2. Kemudian di tingkat PAU sebagai risk owner-nya adalah Direktur atau Kepala unit, dan dekan sebagai pimpinan tertinggi di fakultas dan juga pasca sarjana vokasi serta LIK. Kemudian ini contoh kebijakan SMK3L. Kalau di tingkat Pak Rektor sudah dalam bentuk peraturan rektor. Kalau di tingkat fakultas silakan nanti diadop contoh seperti ini. Komitmen dan kebijakan serta penyebarluasan kebijakan. Penyebarluasan kebijakan ini salah satunya bisa dilakukan dengan safety induction, baik dalam bentuk video maupun safety induction yang disampaikan secara langsung, baik di tingkat fakultas maupun di departemen dan juga laboratorium. Jadi misalnya kalau Bapak Ibu, Pak Budiawan gitu mau, kayaknya kalau Pak Budiawan udah jalan terus nih ya, safety induction-nya ketika akan melakukan praktikum, mahasiswanya diberikan induksi safety untuk bekerja di laboratorium. Di dalam perencanaan kita melakukan identifikasi bahaya, penilaian dan pengendalian risiko K3L. Kami bekerja sama dengan SMR. Tahun depan akan melakukan workshop untuk melakukan kaji risiko atau identifikasi bahaya dan pengendalian risiko yang terkait dengan aspek K3L. Jadi kalau kemarin sudah running untuk enterprise risk assessment, nanti di tahun berikutnya kita akan melakukan kaji risiko aspek K3L. Dia peraturan pembentukan peraturan perundangan dan kita menetapkan sasaran untuk K3L. Saat ini sudah ada target-target dari yang dituangkan ke dalam balance untuk sebagai KPI dari para pimpinan fakultas, dan dekan bisa mengcascade ke bawahnya lagi. Misalnya contohnya kalau implementasi SMK3L di tingkat fakultas dapat diturunkan kembali ke bawah, yaitu sampai di level departemen dan laboratorium. Jadi silakan. Kemudian ada DSC berikutnya, ERD atau implementasi dari Emergency Response Plan dari tingkat UI diturunkan ke fakultas, ke dekan dapat menurunkan kembali ke departemen dan juga laboratorium. Demikian juga BSC lainnya, kantin, dan juga implementasi K3L kontraktor, event, dan lainnya. Jadi silakan diturunkan ke anak cucunya gitu ya. Kemudian untuk pelatihan K3L, komunikasi, partisipasi, dan konsultasi, untuk pemberdayaan K3L ini kita memerlukan involvement atau kerjasama dari banyak pihak, sehingga di dalam meeting-meeting rutin kami mohon bantuan untuk menyelipkan aspek K3L. Misalnya di rapat pimpinan, di rapat SOM, kami mencoba untuk menyelipkan hal itu, atau di dalam aktivitas-aktivitas dicoba untuk dimasukkan aspek K3L. Ada sesi induction atau mungkin nanti ada lesson learn dari best practice yang lain. Kemudian kegiatan pendukung lainnya yang perlu juga dilakukan adalah terkait keadaan darurat dan bencana, dan kita juga perlu mencatat dan menggunakan IT atau manajemen informasi untuk saat ini yang kita gunakan, misalnya dengan menggunakan scaling. Oke, berikut adalah hierarki dokumen K3L mulai dari kebijakan, manual, POB, dan juga formulir. Misalnya contohnya untuk formulir inspeksi kantin, inspeksi kontraktor, itu semua kita sudah siapkan dan dapat digunakan di tingkat fakultas dan departemen. Oke, beberapa contoh-contohnya adalah sebagai berikut, dan berikut ini adalah beberapa peraturan rektor yang terkait dengan K3L. Oke, ada yang untuk transportasi, kantin, kemudian keselamatan radiasi, konstruksi, manajemen biorisiko, chemical safety, dan juga K3L di laboratorium. Ya, kami dibantu oleh para komite ahli-ahli dari berbagai fakultas di UI, Bu Thian, diantaranya Pak Budiawan, ini Bu Devi juga yang banyak memberikan masukan, Pak Ahmad juga terhadap pengembangan peraturan-peraturan yang ada di K3L di UI. Soalnya kalau sudah suruh mikir udah nggak bisa gitu ya, udah kebanyakan mikir. Kemudian berikut pedoman dan POB di tingkat UI, silakan dipakai Bapak Ibu sekalian. Ini semua kami siapkan atau kami sediakan di website K3L. Mungkin itu saja sharing dari kami terkait dengan sistem manajemen K3L Universitas Indonesia. Terima kasih.
For the Q&A session, allow me to introduce our additional moderator, Ibu Yuni Kusmiranti, SKM M.Si. Please welcome to the stage.
Baik, terima kasih. Bapak Ibu sekalian, kita sudah menyaksikan sharing dari Prof Fatma tentang sistem manajemen K3L, sistem manajemen keselamatan, kesehatan kerja dan lingkungan di kampus kita tercinta ya, Universitas Indonesia. Dan tadi juga beliau sudah menjelaskan bagaimana pendekatan sistem manajemen K3L ini mulai dari perencanaan, kemudian pelaksanaan ya, siklus dari time reject emission-nya, dan juga terakhir tadi ada beberapa sharing ya, peraturan rektor dan juga pedoman-pedoman yang bisa diakses. Saya rasa ini menarik sekali dan sudah ada teman-teman dari Bapak Ibu Fakultas. Mungkin ada hal yang ingin ditanyakan, silakan. Untuk sesi pertama ini berapa pertanyaan? Semuanya boleh tanya ya, Prof. 3, oke. 3 menanya. Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih atas pertanyaan. Saya menyimak dari presentasi dari Singapura yang kedua berkaitan dengan Fatma sama sebenarnya terkait dengan bagaimana memberdayakan mahasiswa untuk safety. Ya, saya pertanyaan ini karena pengalaman betul ya kalau di lantai 8 pasca itu Pak ada gempa. Itu karena kita tidak biasa untuk melakukan training yang alarm bunyi kemudian kita latihan intermittent sekali aja ya. Itu akhirnya kita berhamburan untuk hal yang kemana-mana ya. Nah, itu kan sebenarnya sama halnya kalau kita membiasakan dan 1 bulan kita berikan alarm sekali aja. Kemudian beruntun kita tuh turun kemudian sampai kepada pakai kumpul gitu ya. Itu saya yakin kalau dijadikan seperti itu ya bukan harapan, tapi saya kira kita sangat naluri akan terbiasa. Nah, bagaimana kita bisa menerapkan itu untuk impian kita? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Ibu ditanya dulu atau langsung dijawab?
Terima kasih Pak Sigit ya. Untuk hal tersebut nanti akan di-cover di crisis management plan, tapi saya bisa jawab juga bahwa emergency response sebetulnya bagian dari BSC yang KSD ke fakultas. Jadi fakultas kita harapkan salah satunya menerapkan tadi safety drill dan melakukan juga inspeksi. Tapi tentunya harus dibentuk dulu tim tanggap darurat yang memiliki kompetensi, sudah memahami tentang apa yang harus dilakukan kalau terjadi gempa, kalau terjadi kebakaran, sudah ada timnya. Kalau FIK memang ingin mengundang kita siap. Beberapa fakultas juga kita sudah roadshow terus untuk implementasi BSC dari emergency response ini. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih. Jelas ya Pak ya. Berikutnya dari dipersilakan Ibu. Boleh ke samping kiri atau kanan atau pakai mic ini juga boleh.
Terima kasih, saya Anis dari FK. Pertanyaan saya adalah sehubungan dengan struktur tadi. Itu kalau kita hubungkan dengan MUS tadi ada safety. Nah, sepertinya di sini tidak ada ya, Prof ya. Dan menurut saya, kebetulan saya orang mikrobiologi, jadi concern tentang masalah biosafety dan biosecurity. Mungkin memang menjadi tanggung jawab laboratorium masing-masing, tetapi dalam kenyataannya bahwa permasalahan ini bukan sesuatu yang kecil yang harus diurusi oleh laboratorium saja, tetapi juga harus oleh universitas, mengingat kalau kita bicara tentang biosecurity, keamanan dari bagaimana kita membatasi akses orang luar terhadap mikroba yang kita miliki, itu juga saya rasa berhubungan dengan keamanan yang menjadi bagian dari K3L juga begitu. Jadi bagaimana kalau misalnya dipertimbangkan untuk ditambahkan bahwa biosecurity ini juga ada di bawah Ibu. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Dr. Anis. Kebetulan komite untuk biorisk management ini dari teman-teman dari FK ya, dan diketuai oleh Dr. Budiman Bella, kemudian ada Dr. Vera Ibrahim, dan peraturan rektor terkait biorisk management ini sudah disusun oleh mereka juga dan sudah keluar sejak tahun 2016. Kami sudah pernah membagikan peraturan rektor terkait dengan K3L dan termasuk di dalamnya adalah biorisk management. Mungkin kalau ada teman-teman rekan-rekan yang belum memperoleh pedoman peraturan rektor, ada 8 yang salah satunya adalah biorisk management, nanti bisa di-download di website kami atau boleh juga nanti mengcopy dalam bentuk soft file. Ya. Ya, mohon maaf tadi saya belum menyampaikan. Jadi kami punya 8 komite sama seperti di NUS. Kalau di NUS itu ada namanya steering komite ya Bu ya. Kalau di kita namanya komite. Jadi ada komite biorisk, Dr. Budiman Bella dan kawan-kawan. Ada Bu Arum juga di situ, Dr. Vera. Kalau chemical safety ada Pak Budiawan sebagai ketua komitenya. Kemudian Bu Bian sebagai K3L kantin dan juga komite kesehatan kerja. Kemudian ada transportasi Bu Indri, ada 8 komite, komite transportasi. Kemudian pemeliharaan manajemen risiko pohon. Tadi mohon maaf nggak saya masukkan ke dalam struktur kami karena itu sebenarnya bukan struktur yang struktural, tapi ini adalah sifatnya advisor. Dia advisor kepada kami yang memberikan saran, kemudian membantu mengembangkan peraturan rektor dan memberikan masukan kepada kami tentang strateginya. Termasuk juga untuk manajemen pengendalian hewan liar, kemudian manajemen ini yang lingkungan itu ada banyak Bu, saya sampai lupa, ada 8 komite. Kita nyontek juga dari NUS waktu itu. Ya. Terima kasih Dr. Anis. Mungkin kalau Ibu memang di bidang yang tadi bioris, kami mengundang untuk Ibu bergabung juga ke dalam komite kami. Dr. Devi juga boleh kalau mau bergabung di Occupational Health untuk UI ya Bu ya. Satu lagi ya.
Silakan Mas, boleh ke sebelah kiri atau sebelah kanan? Jangan lupa disebutkan nama dan fakultasnya atau unit kerjanya. Nanti ada itu aja nggak Mbak? Silakan.
Selamat siang, saya Nationanal dari Fakultas Ilmu Komputer. Yang pertama saya bertanyakan struktur sistem manajemen K3L itu di Fasilkom ininya kan karyawannya itu nggak terlalu banyak. Jika kalau mau mengikuti sama persis ke K3L UI aja kita nggak ada SDM-nya kalau untuk itu. Apalagi kalau ikutin NUS. Nah satu lagi untuk nyari volunteer mahasiswa di Fasilkom juga agak susah, tapi belum dicoba sih. Nah itu, ketiga, saya juga nanti akan coba ngobrol ke manajemen, mau mengundang seperti FIA ya. Waktu itu kan saya juga akhirnya ngobrol sama Mas Thian kan. Nah itu ternyata memang sistem manajemen ini di Fasilkom khususnya belum ada. Oke, mohon tanggapannya Bu. Baik, terima kasih.
Makasih banyak Mas dari Fasilkom. Ya betul, Fasilkom saat ini juga lagi sedang proses untuk implementasi SMK3L ya, sedang membentuk P2 K3L-nya fakultas. Kalau saran saya memang nggak perlu yang dedicated seperti kayak kami di UPT K3L, tapi fungsinya bisa embedded ke struktural begitu Mas. Jadi nggak perlu menambah orang lagi, tapi embedded ke struktural. Jadi misalnya dekan sebagai pimpinan tertinggi fakultas dan juga sebagai ketua panitia pembina K3L di fakultas. Kemudian sekretarisnya bisa manajer umum fasilitas ataupun K3L-nya fakultas. Dan di masing-masing departemen silakan disusun kembali struktur yang sama. Dan sifatnya ini embedded dengan struktur gitu. Jadi nggak perlu create tenaga tambahan lagi. Itu sih intinya. Ya. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Bu Prof dan terima kasih para hadirin sekalian. Pertanyaannya sebenarnya masih banyak sih Bu sebenarnya. Jadi memang perlu sesi khusus ya untuk membicarakan SMK3 ini. Iya. Jadi sebagai kesimpulan Bapak Ibu sekalian bahwa pendekatan sistem manajemen K3L dalam pelaksanaan implementasi K3 di Universitas Indonesia adalah lebih bertujuan untuk bagaimana melaksanakan aspek K3 itu sehingga lebih terorganisir dan sistematis. Yang kedua, memang dalam pelaksanaan SMK3 itu diperlukan pelibatan dari semua pihak ya, mulai dari tadi misalnya membentuk komite-komite gitu, mulai dari pimpinan, pegawai, kemudian dosen, riset sampai ke tim ahli dan bahkan sampai ke pegawai ataupun staf, juga mahasiswa. Paparan yang sangat menarik buat kita semua dan kita kasih applause kepada Ibu Prof. Fatma Lestari. Demikian saya tutup sesi ini dengan mengucapkan wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Selanjutnya saya mengundang Ibu Thian dan Bapak Budiawan untuk memberikan hadiah bagi penanya yang tadi memberikan pertanyaan kepada Pak Sigit. Mohon izin Ibu Robiana untuk memberikan hadiah bagi penanya. Mohon kesediaan Pak Budiawan untuk memberikan hadiah kepada Dr. Anis dan Mas Hari ya.
Terima kasih. Jadi kami memberikan tumbler karena kita sedang kampanye zero plastik untuk mengurangi penggunaan botol plastik ya. Jadi Bapak Ibu bisa minum lagi, dituang lagi gitu untuk mengurangi botol plastik. Silakan. Berikutnya ini memberikan door prize untuk yang penanya hadiah kepada saya.
Let us continue to the second session. Sharing crisis management from Dr. Peck, Thian, Guan from Nationanal University of Singapore, and with the second moderator, Dr. Devi Sumaryani Sumarko, MSc, Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Indonesia, Occupational Medicine Postgraduate Master Program, Occupational Medicine Specialist Program, Occupational and Environment Health Research Center Emegency, Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Indonesia, and also she is head of Occupational Health and Safety Unit Fakultas Medicine Universitas Indonesia since 2015. To Dr. Devi, please come to the stage.
Thank you very much for the time, and then I know that everybody is know about Dr. Peck, and then I think let's start. Okay, please, Dr. Peck.
So this is the second part of my presentation on the NUS Crisis and Emergency Management System. In managing crisis, there are four principles that we adhere to. Firstly, the important thing is about saving lives. Second thing is to minimize property damage. The third is to ensure business continuity. And last is to protect the reputation. If you do all the three well, the fourth one will come naturally. These are the guiding principles that we abide by and guides us in our approach to crisis management. I hope you can see this. This is a timeline of an incident. Right at the start, you see the green bit. That's peacetime. Everything is normal, life carries on as normal, you do your work as normal, but that's the time when you need to prepare. The time is spent for you to prepare for crisis. The next part, you see the red square there, that's when a disaster strikes. When disaster strikes, there will be a time where you do not know. You're paralyzed, you do not know what's happened. That's the gap between the red box, the red arrow, and the next black line. That's the time. And this is the time that you want to shorten as much as possible. The more prepared you are, the more you're able to shorten the gap. Then you act, you do immediate emergency response, you assess the severity of the incident, and this is what we call incident management. Certain cases, your capability will be right down to zero. You are absolutely affected. The third part, there is you decide whether if you need to activate your business continuity plan. Business continuity plan is activated when you know that the crisis will be prolonged. It takes a long time for you to re-establish your operation back to normal. When you activate your business continuity plan or BCP, you gradually ramp up your capability. It will not be 100%, but enough for you to get your critical activities back in process, back into operation, and you get the key functions up and running so that business can continue. Depends on the situation. Your BC plan could be a short couple of days, or it could extend for a pretty long period of time. During this period, you will recover, you resume your operation, and you try to restore your operation back to normal. And when everything is okay, you then return to your normal operation, and that's back again to green. So this is a timeline of a crisis. The whole cycle, this is a field in which there's no universal definition of what a crisis is, which one is ahead in the hierarchy, higher up in the hierarchy. Is it business continuity or crisis management? But for us, we have our own definition, right? There's no universal agreement on how this should be. So for us, we call this whole thing business resilience. That means resilience is somebody knock you fall down, but you can come up again as quickly as possible. That's resilience. With resilience, you need to be prepared, you need to be able to respond, and then you're able to carry on your business continuity. So we have these two parts. Overall, we call this business resilience. In a program like this, we have to take into account our stakeholders. Who are our stakeholders? Who are we accountable to? Right? We are accountable to our own staff, our students, it could be their parents, it could be collectively, they are really our customers, our internal officers, regulatory agency, we have our partners, alumni, people that we deal with, we have our press and our media. These are stakeholders that we have to take into account the various needs when we come up with our crisis management plan. We use the same PDCA approach in our program for crisis management. Right at the top, again, we start with policy. Policy sets up the framework for us to plan our way ahead. It tells us what we must do, what are some of the things that we cannot do, what are some of the things we must do. Then we come up with programs, we have supporting services, we have professional advice, and again we do what is an inspection. To answer your question, what are some of the incidents that happen? Fire is one crisis that can be very devastating. We had several major fire incidents in the past. If you Google NUS fire, you'll see some of these images. We had a case where a pyrophoric gas was released into our duct system, then the whole duct caught fire. Right? You see the flaming stack at the top, right, going up vertically on the side of the building. That's the stack that caught fire. We have housing. This is a staff housing. Somebody cooked, left the gas. It was not gas, it was a heater, it was induction. They left it on, went outside to attend to, I think, the child, and came back, the flat was burned. We have fire in university accommodation. That's staff accommodation. This is student accommodation. Somebody was doing his homework on his laptop, decided to go and take a shower. When he came back, his room was gone. Destroyed by fire because the computer caught fire. Labs, you deal with flammable materials, you deal with combustible materials, you have electrical supply, so they are also a possible cause of fire. Student activities. We want students to go out to experience things, but with it comes risk. So students must know how to manage this risk. It's good for them to know about risk management, to be able to try new things, but do it in a safe manner. Our students do go trekking, outdoor activities, they go night cycling, they organize mass run. It makes the campus alive. It creates a very vibrant student community, which is good. But things can also go wrong if they do not know how to manage. Or sometimes natural disaster can fall on them, and they must know how to be able to respond, especially for activities which happen outside of Singapore. Singapore is a relatively safe place. We are quite protected. We don't have earthquake, we don't have tsunami, we don't have typhoons, so we are kind of protected, but not when they are out there. They are doing hiking, they're doing scuba diving, they're doing trekking, they're doing all sorts of adventurous things. Then they're exposed to a different type of environment. They're very open to natural disaster, so they have to be prepared. The third type of incident that we have to prepare for are the major events which happens on university organized events that attract large crowds. We have our open house, where we attract new students, they're not students of university yet, but the students who have just graduated from the high school, to come and see what the university is like. And we have many thousand students coming in for just one day to look at what the university education is like. They come with their parents. We have commencement, graduation. It's a happy event. Parents, students, VIPs, they're there. And we have to be prepared for incidents that may happen. We have homecoming. That's when we open our campus. We invite the alumni back on campus. We call it homecoming. Again, large crowds and other events where you can see from here the number of people. So if things go wrong, if, for example, you get a fire happening during such an event, then if it's not properly managed, then it's going to be a disaster. People may get hurt and we may even get casualties. So we have a crisis management framework that guides us in response to these crises, and we have policies to help us do it. To start off with, we have a framework. The framework was launched in 2005, and shortly after that we came up with a policy, and with the policy we came up with a manual that then helped us in our administration, in our running of the framework. We have the building blocks of our crisis, right? At the highest level, we have the executive level. For certain events of a certain impact, the president will have to take charge. Okay? With him, supporting him is crisis executive group. Most of the time, he will not be involved. The senior management will not be involved. It's the next layer down. We call it the crisis and emergency management team. I'm the crisis commander, so I take this team. This team, I'll talk about it later, but it includes people from various departments together to manage an incident. The core of it is the Unit Incident Crisis Committee of the faculties, departments, of the offices. In our policy, we emphasize local ownership. If an incident happened in student housing, the dean of student who is in charge of student housing is the incident commander. If it happens in the hall of residence, then the hall master becomes the incident commander. If it happens in the faculty dean or his deputy becomes the incident commander. The box. Big events or small events, it has to be managed locally. If it's a bigger event, more impactful, then the next layer takes over. And if it affects the whole university, then the crisis activity group takes over. So these are some of the key points we stress in the policy. The ownership or the responsibility of the unit. If it happens in your unit, you take charge. But then, if it impacts other people, then other people will come in and help you with this problem. That's one of the most fundamental rules. Second thing is finance. There must be a sum of money set aside to manage these crises. And again, we emphasize local ownership. If it happens in your department, in your faculty, then the department must come up with the money to stabilize it. Beyond which, the last point here, NUS has we set aside $500,000 Singapore dollars crisis fund to manage across the whole university. So again, like manpower, we emphasize again local ownership. It happens there, you free up the manpower to do the necessary crisis stabilization work. So the points here, I will not go into detail, but it lays out the do's and the don'ts. One part of it, this side, deals a lot with students or staff in crisis, maybe students in crisis. Mandatory medical assessment and therapeutic intervention. Some of the students, or even some of the staff, may have mental health condition. The policy states that we can mandate that you go for a psychiatric assessment. And if you're not well, there could be mandatory leave of absence. You may think you're well, but if the psychiatrist thinks you're not well, the doctor thinks you're not well, then the university has the right to say that you go and recover. Don't be on campus and you cause harm to yourself, or you may endanger the life of others. So the policy provides for that. And after that, you must be assessed before you can come back to work or study. To make sure that you're well. If you're away, make sure you're well to recuperate. Only if you're well, then you can come back to work or study. Again, the policy states that, and the doctor will have to do the assessment, but the final decision will still have to be the owner of that unit. Okay, it could be the dean, it could be the department director, so on. I mentioned about the severity, I mentioned about the different levels of alert. Level 1 is what we call a minor incident. If it happens in your department, you can handle it, it's considered a minor department. It's considered a minor incident. Level 2, we call it emergency. Right? Slightly a bit more intense. You need 2 or 3 departments to come together for you to settle that issue. And level 3, we call it a crisis. Crisis is when it impacts the whole university, and the most severe case, and you need all resources, you garner all resources to manage it. This is a brief summary of what I mentioned. Like level 1 incident, the one in yellow, it could be a localized chemical spill. Somebody drops a bottle, spill a chemical, it could be pungent, but you can manage it, the department can manage it. So within a short time, it's managed and everything goes back to normal. It's an incident with little or no impact on personnel, property, or normal operation, and it happens within or outside the local affected area. The second thing is, the second orange box here is level 2, emergency. An emergency is a serious event that disrupts one or more operations of the university. It could be a structural fire, it could be a major chemical spill, an accident resulting in serious injuries, attempted suicide, unnatural death on campus, or anything that has a threat to the university. So you see some of the photos I showed you about the fires. So those are level 2 incidents. Level 3 is a crisis. A crisis is a serious event that severely impairs or halts the operation of the university, and it impacts not just the university but a greater community event. So far, we had, I would say, only one level 3 incident. That's the H1N1 pandemic that affected all of Singapore. SARS also affected us, but SARS happened before we set up the framework. If it had been SARS and we had a framework, we would have been at level 3. Most of the incidents are level 2. Many incidents are level 2, and again, there are many level 1 incidents. So, if I were to do it again, I would have 5 levels. Normally, it's not strictly a level 1, it's a level 1 plus. We need a little bit of input from the corporate side to help the department sort it out, but it will go away in a short while. Some of the events are a bit more serious. It needs more departments to come together, and I would need to inform the president. That would be a level 2 plus. So if I had a chance to do this all over again, I would have 5 levels. But sometimes it's a level 1 plus incident, it's a level 2 plus incident. But hardly do I get a level 3. Okay, so that's how we classify events, and with the classification of events, we would then decide what sort of resources are needed to address it. The level 1, 2, and 3, we also give examples. So level 3 incident could be assault, a bomb threat, major chemical spill, civil disorder. When we have protests on campus, that would be considered civil disorder. Okay, severe food poisoning, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so these are, we give examples in our manual so that it's clear. Level 1, 2, and 3 incidents. In level 1, 2, and 3 incidents, all 3 types of incidents, the unit must take ownership. So you see the unit incident crisis committee takes ownership of all incidents that affect it. The next higher level, level 2, the crisis and emergency team, in which I'm what we call the CEM director. I will command the situation, and we would also involve the unit incident. Okay, and level 3, the crisis would be the crisis executive group, in which the president, or usually his designate, which is the deputy president or the provost, will take charge. We have a system or a structure. It's more a function. In a crisis, we need to look at 4 functions. One is operations, which deal with the immediate. The next group function deals with planning. A crisis may be prolonged. The operation team looks at the current. The planning team looks at future, in a week's time, in a month's time, for example, more long-range planning. Then we have resources and logistics, and we have finance and admin. This is the structure, and the CEM director commands all these units, all these functions, and he reports to the crisis executive team. We are advised by legal, and on the other side, we are advised by our corporate communications. This is the crisis executive group, led by the president and his deputy. It will be the provost or the deputy president, and we have key officers being already addressed, being identified. This is a single group. In some cases where in a pandemic situation, you need to have 2 groups for business continuity. You need 2 groups to be independent, operate separately. They do not want, if you operate in a single team, and if one person is down, the whole team can be affected and you're out of business straight away. So we have a single team mode or double or split team mode. The split team mode is used for pandemic, where you want to make sure that 2 teams are segregated. Nowadays, with IT tools, with video conferencing, it's a lot easier to manage. In the past, where IT tools were not so prevalent, we make sure that the teams are physically separated, they can operate from different locations, and the teams are divided such that they reflect the function. The team 1 is the primary team, team 2 is the backup team. The crisis and emergency management team has these 4 functions, and there's an area that I would like to bring to your attention, which is counseling and psychology services. We call it CARE. CARE stands for Caring Action in Response to Emergencies. In all crises, there will be a people element. People will be affected. Some of them could be traumatized. Somebody will be depressed, the mental state will be affected. So we need the counselor, the professional counselors to come and help. That's a counseling team. Again, the CEM has a single team and a split 2-team mode. Okay, so team 1 again is primary, team 2 is the deputies, and the deputies is kind of it mirrors the function of team 1. At the lowest level, at the unit level, at the department, at the faculty level, or research institute level, or in hall of residence level, okay, there will be this setup too. It mirrors the higher levels. You have the operation planning, logistics, and finance. Again, at the level, who can be the UIC or who can be the unit incident commander? It's usually not the master of the hall, but his deputy. It's not the dean, but his deputy. Okay, so the deputy dean or vice dean, director or deputy director. So they will manage this. What's happening in the department. Members of that unit, the unit could then pull in staff from various functions to help staff this function in the crisis. It could be administrative staff or even academic staff. There could be the faculty safety committees, it could be safety officers, and we also advise them to have care members. There must be at least 6 members. Why 6 members? Because at any one time, a pair of care members will be on duty. You can't operate alone, we operate in pairs. Because to handle grieving relatives, it's very, very straining. So you need to work with pairs. Then, the other pair, if it's long drawn, the second pair will take over. So they do on a rotation basis. So we need 4 people already. And the third set is to stand by in case another crisis will hit you at the same time. Now, what is care? Care, they are not professional counselors. They are ordinary folks with a heart for people. They deal with the day-to-day necessities of the affected people or the affected next of kin or the parents. They tell them where to go for food, how to take transport. If you are from you're a foreign student, the affected is a foreign student, and the parents come from overseas, where are you going to stay, which hotel are you going to stay, are you going to come to campus from the hotel, and so on and so forth. Okay, so they provide practical help and practical tips, advice to help the affected family to get along. So, minimum of 6 people in the team. So care is carrying action in response to an emergency. We offer help in terms of emotional support. They provide practical advice. They are not professional counselors. They are not expected to counsel. They are not supposed to counsel, but they are just to provide that link to provide practical help to the grieving family. So how do we get them ready? We ask the deans to select people we are more people-oriented, have a heart for people, then we train them. We tell them what the grieving process is like, so they are aware. So when we deal with grieving parents, they would know what to expect. So we run through like mental first aid course and supporting individuals in difficult times. What are some of the incidents which require participation from various officers? So we have like pandemic, the whole nation is affected. For us as university, we have to manage, right? So we get people, we mobilize everybody to manage this. We are also affected by the haze. Haze happens outdoors, but the air from outdoors gets sucked into the lecture theatres. Our canteens are open, air canteens. It's affected. Again, we have to make alternative arrangements with the haze. We have attempted suicide cases, we have construction incidents, fire incidents, and sometimes major power destruction that affects business continuity. this is an example of how we manage. There was a case where a tower crane was lifting a formwork, and all of a sudden a strong gust of wind blew. The whole formwork flipped over. The boom of the crane became bent, flipped. So it was a major incident. Thankfully, there were no casualties, but it was unsafe. So we had to do something about it. We had to bring the situation back to normal. So how do we do it? The whole thing was managed by the CMP. So firstly, it's classified as actually it's a level 2+ incident. Serious, if the crane is unstable, it topples, there'll be quite a lot of collateral damage. People will be affected. So we coordinated with the crane operator, the crane consultant, the construction company that was operating on site to make sure that their consultant, the specialist engineer, the crane operator knows how to dismantle the crane. Okay, we don't know. They are the experts what we manage to interface. The crane is in our Faculty of Medicine. Okay, it is a tower crane. It overhangs, it overlooks a few buildings. So for them to dismantle the whole structure, they have to bring in additional cranes which will then have to operate over existing buildings. So we have to work with the unit incident commander for the various faculties. Faculty of Science, the School of Medicine, a research institute called Center for Life Science Cells. We have to deal with the media, so we deal with the Office of Corporate Communications. Security officers need to be mobilized because we need to control the traffic around the site. We need to look at evacuation of building. We need to of the surrounding building, especially the crane. The crane comes over to assist in the dismantling of that tower crane which has been affected. Road closures. There will be a lot of heavy vehicles moving. So the maintenance crew need to be there. The estates, the department is in charge of construction. They own the so-called, they are the owner of the problem. So we work with various teams to get it sorted out. We have the coordinating agency, we work with the regulators, we work with the national agencies, we work with the construction company, we make sure that everything is in order. If an accident happens, how do we escalate? We have several redundancies built into this system. The first responder on site will have to raise the alarm. If I see an accident, I see a traffic accident, I see a fire, I raise the alarm. That's the first responder. That's the one box right up there in blue. The first responder can alert. We tell them, call campus security. They are 24/7. That's the red box. That's the emergency number. We widely publicize this number. Some people may know the unit incident commander, so instead of calling campus security, you call the vice dean directly. So that's fine. Okay, but then you can summon SCD, the ambulance or the police to come and attend to the injured as quickly as possible. But it's very important to call campus security box injured because through them I will be contacted. Okay, they have my number. There are a few of us on duty. If I'm here in Indonesia, there will be somebody on duty, right? So we take turns. We cover for each other. And once activated, the CM can then bring the whole university resource to help manage the situation. We have this plastered all over campus so that people know in all our safety talks, we will remind them to call this number, to enter this number in their handphone. We have also 2 sites. My office is in the main site, and I have another office, which is the Emergency Management Division's office. We have 2 sites because if the main site is affected, we have a secondary site to work from. Again, we set this up a long time ago when IT services were not so user-friendly and prevalent. Now, we need not go to an EOC, this designated EOC, to do most of our crisis work. We can just set up a room nearby because we're all of us have handphone and mobile devices. We can just set up anywhere close by to the student work, quite convenient. Maps and all that, they're all available e-commerce. We carry out training and equipping. We carry out a lot of courses. Like what I mentioned, a lot of time is spent in prevention. All our lab safety that I talked about earlier is all about prevention. We want to prevent accidents from happening. There are also emergency preparedness courses which we conduct for our staff and students. So for example, the second bullet point, we conduct the safety and crisis management planning course for our student leaders. So for those activities that they organize officially under the university, then the student leaders must attend the course. So they know how to do the risk assessment. And these students may not be in a lab-based faculty. It could be business or law or philosophy or whatever. But they learn about risk assessment. Then they learn about how to prepare a crisis plan. For fire safety, we have a structure that looks at fire safety. Again, a cascading structure where each building will have a building fire safety coordinator. Each floor will have, each faculty will have a faculty person in charge, and then each building will have a building fire safety coordinator. Each floor will have fire wardens. So again, we have this cascading structure of to manage fire safety. These people will also be doing their own fire safety inspection. We have several fire safety training courses that we conduct. Some of them, many of them are face-to-face to the practical element. I think we saw the slide from Fatma, like what she showed, practical firefighting, using the fire extinguisher to put out a fire. We have CPR AED course. We have the mannequins. I think they also, when they visited NUS, they also attended the course. So we use mannequins, each one has one, and they practice CPR. They learn about CPR. We have AEDs. AEDs are external defibrillators. And we have these AEDs throughout campus, scattered, planned carefully at a distance of, if you run, it takes about 3 minutes to reach at any one point to reach the AED. And the AED is to defibrillate the heart, and the CPR is a restart state the person. For student events, we are guided by this principle. Student events must be successful. Not only must we be successful, it cannot be dull and boring. It must be fun, but it must be also safe. So guided by this, we advise our students accordingly. So there are certain things that they have to do if they want to change the use of a place. If the foyer outside is meant to contain the crowd exiting from lecture theatre, they want to change it to a place where they have stalls and game stalls and sell things and things like that, they have to go through a approval. They have to apply for temporary change of use because it would affect activities that's going on in here. It would affect fire load, the loading, it would affect the escape route. So all that is being assessed. My staff will go through and advise them accordingly. Indoor-outdoor activities like night cycling, rope relay, mass swim, overseas expedition, canoeing, kayaking, and so on and so forth, they will need a safety and crisis plan. Things that do not need approval, if they are holding a seminar, students want to hold a seminar in lecture theatre, oh, that's fine, because that's what lecture theatres are for, so they need not apply for the safety permit. If they hold a sports event in a sports field, that's fine, because that's what the sports fields are for, so they need not come to us. So when they are planning an event, again, there must be a structure. We stress on local ownership. For each student event, there must be a supervising officer, an incident commander, right? And for a student event, they must also nominate somebody to be a safety officer. This is again to give responsibility to the person. The person knows that his job is really to ensure safety. Safety is his primary responsibility primary responsibility in the organizing committee of the student event. So for overseas, for activities, trips and all that, we have make it easy for them. We have templates available. They look at the templates, they be guided to what they ought to look at, what sort of details they need to address in the plan. So if there's a change of use, they have to think about how the new use of the place will affect its function as well as function of other places connected to that venue. They have a safety plan, they need a crisis plan, and also when they go overseas, there's special things to look out for. Next thing is pandemic and epidemic preparedness. We are on the constant lookout. We get our feed from our Ministry of Health. If there are outbreaks, even like dengue outbreak, we are also aware of that. And we look at, in particular, developments in not just in Singapore but also in the region, because people do go out into various hotspots in the region or elsewhere in the world. For us, what do we need to do? We adopt our recommendation from our Ministry of Health. We do temperature screening, we step up our cleaning routine, make sure the place is sanitized, and we control access to areas, to offices, to labs. Our campus is an open campus, so it's very difficult. It's not gated, we don't have a fence, we can't monitor people coming in at the gate. We've got no gate. Right? Everywhere is accessible, I think just like this campus. So it's challenging. So we adopt what we call screening station, but control is really at the office level. You want to make sure that somebody is free from symptoms before you allow the person to come into the office to practice that. So that's the philosophy, that's the strategy that we adopt. So in peacetime, we store PPE, we store N95 masks, we make sure our temperature screening equipment is working, we try it out periodically during tests, during drills. For the students, we give them an emergency pack, which has a lanyard, some safety instructions, some emergency numbers to monitor. We do temperature screening at halls and residential colleges, again to get them used to the idea. And we have managing visitors and students from pandemic areas or affected areas staying in halls. So we have all that looked up in our SOPs. This is temperature screening equipment similar to those that you find in the airports. So, crisis management the range is very wide. We have considered our activation procedure, our notification, escalation. That one is critical. Sometimes things happen very quickly. So the escalation procedure must be there so that the right people get notified at the right time, in a timely manner. So if I'm here, who are my deputies? Do people know that if they cannot contact me, they must contact my deputies, and so on and so forth. So the activation procedure. We must have SOPs for credible situation. We start to think about what can possibly go wrong. And the common saying is that your plans don't normally work. But at least you have a plan. You can always modify the plan. It's better than not having a plan at all. Okay, such is a situation of crisis. I never dreamt that a crane lifting a whole work can flip. I never dreamed of such a thing. But it happened. But we don't have a plan like that, but we have bits and pieces of the plan of mobilization, of activation, of notifying our surrounding buildings, of traffic control. So we have all that in place, and we just put together the various bits that fit the scenario. So we have SOPs for credible situation. The actual crisis situation may not be exactly the same core, but at least you have the pieces in place to pull from various plans, and then you have a workable plan in a very short time. And last thing is, have you tested the plan? We have joint drills with our national agency, okay, at least once or twice a year, for them to get to know our campus, for us to know how to respond to them, how to meet them. Our campus is pretty big, complex. We are built on a hill, we are built on a ridge, that's why it's called Cambridge campus. We are built on a ridge. We have two buildings on a ridge. Level two of this building can connect to level 5 of this building. So if you leave it alone to the police or the civil defense force, you will get lost. So we have SOP, tests. When you activate, right, they will be coordinated. They know where to meet them, and then they can quickly bring them to site. So we test out our plans again. Okay, our fire drills also test them out. We test our. Just recently, I was asked how many people I have in my team. I just added 7 more people to my team because they are what we call the rapid response team. They are our own in-house firefighters. Okay, so we need to test them too. They also need to know our own campus. We have new labs being developed, new buildings, new risks being introduced, new hazards being introduced in the buildings from time to time. So we have to test our plans regularly. That's all I have for crisis management. Yes, please take a question.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Peck. It's very amazing and also very good information that you have given us. Okay, so let's start with the question and answer. Okay, is there? Okay, Ibu, silakan sebutkan nama dan dari institusi mana.
My name is M.Si from Risk Management Unit. I have 3 questions to you, Dr. Peck. First, I believe there was time when NUS, when you talk about timeline of crisis. My questions: did NUS have ever experienced failed to do incident management and it went to crisis phase? My second question, in crisis policy, you have one point about NUS Crisis Management Fund. How does NUS conduct this program? I forget my question actually. I think that's 2 questions. Thank you. Okay, so this is the first.
All right, the first question is on anything which we did not manage well and became a crisis. Yes, SARS was an incident that we did not manage well and it became quite chaotic. It was after SARS that the university management decided that we need a safety office, and shortly after safety office is formed, the responsibility of crisis management was then loaded onto that office, my office. Okay, so SARS was pretty chaotic. We do not have SOPs. Rules were just invented on the move, and there was no system of control, and so it was quite bad. There was another case where we had the plans, but we did not anticipate the human behavior, people's response to crisis. It was managed, but I would say it could have been better. There was a student who passed away on campus. Overseas student. We contacted the family. The family didn't want to come initially. Got an uncle who was based in the region to come. The uncles quickly settled everything. Within 2 days, the matter was closed. Body was repatriated. So we thought everything was over. But we did not anticipate the human reaction to crisis, human reaction to a situation like this. I thought it was over in 2 days or 3 days after everything was closed on site. But unfortunately, the whole incident lasted another year because it was not closed at the other end. Okay, the parents could not accept the death of the student, of their own child. And that human element, I think, was not it was also a cultural issue. We didn't fully understand the culture, and therefore we did not anticipate the reaction from the parents. So it lasted another year until finally when the parents came and the coroner inquiry was over and then the issue was solved. So it was a complex issue. So that was the first question. Second question was on the funds. How do we activate the funds? Okay, so $500,000 is set aside. It can only be activated by the Deputy President or the President. Okay, upon my recommendation. It's only to deal with level 3 incidents or incidents which have a major impact. Level 2 plus incidents which have a major impact on campus, and they scramble to look for funds and there's no relief fund available. They tap into this crisis fund. Okay, so it's only used for very, very selected crisis. So the picture I showed with the flame coming up from the stack, okay, that one we activated the crisis plan because we wanted to quickly clean up the place, stabilize it. So the crisis fund was activated. We got in the contractors to do the remediation action quickly, settle that.
Thank you for the explanation. I remember my last question said, from this moment I can see that UI has a very good relationship with the NUS in terms of K3L. But I want to know how Prof. Fatma, especially as the director, trying to approach NUS, because my office is truly planning to visit risk management office of NUS, and I want to know how Prof. Fatma did it successfully with NUS. Thank you. I mean, how you can welcome UI also very warmly.
Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know. It's very charming. It's I think by sharing we also learn. I just asked her for her safety video, so I'm also learning through this visit. So by sharing, I think we all learn from each other. So I learned from other people too. When we first started, after SARS, we had no system then. We learned from other people, we benefited from other people, and when we benefited, I think we share. Through sharing, we also learn. And it's about life, it's about safety, it's about preventing people from getting injured, and people are injured, how to pick up to restore the situation quickly, minimize pain and misery for people. Such things I think is worth sharing. Nothing to be selfish about. We share and we all improve together.
Okay? Yeah, okay. Another question, please. Mention your name and also your institution.
Good afternoon. My name is Devi. I'm a Dari from Faculty of Psychology. I'm very interested that you have the SOP for mental assessment and intervention. First, do you just rely on the psychiatrist or psychologist who does that, or you have the SOP for the assessment? The second, about the care team, you said they are not counselors, but they are just people closer, so it's psychological first aid. Do you have any trainings for those care team? Can we learn also about it? Thank you.
Okay, so the assessment, the psychiatric assessment is done by the counselors who are trained psychologists and psychiatrists. Okay, so that's left to the medical professionals to do the professional assessment. Lay people like ourselves, if we find that something is not right, we just refer to them and let them do the professional assessment. Some of the professional assessment would be, can this student continue to stay on campus? If the student stay on campus, will he or she be a risk to himself or herself because there's no supervision? They all stay in single rooms? Or will this person be a possible threat to others too? Okay, so that type of assessment, we leave it to the professionals to do. With regards to care members are lay people. Okay? They are ordinary staff with a heart for people. They are more people-oriented. Okay? So they are trained in the basics on reacting to crisis. So they go through, they at least they know that a person will go through, if I remember, the 4 stages of anger, denial, and so on and so forth, right? So at least they know. So they will not be shocked why the family member is shouting at him or her, right? So it's a natural part of grieving. So we train them in such things, but they're not expected to be counselors. They just go through this, what we call the mental first aid, health first aid course, so that they know how people react to a grieving situation, right? So, yeah, so that course we conduct for our care members. So, the mental health first aid course is a course, I think you can Google it. I think it's offered by an Australian institute, I think. So you can find out more about it online. Is it?
Sudah. Okay. Another question? Yeah. Okay. Please come.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Peck, for the presentation, and thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask about what we can do.
Please mention your name.
Oh yeah, I'm Fatma from Environmental Health 2016. I would like to ask, as a student, what we can do or what we should do when we face on the 3-level situation: injuries, emergency, and crisis, or or can you tell us the basic knowledges or material that we should have to face on this situation? Thank you.
How would you react to a crisis, to a student? It depends on the situation that you're in. If you're in a lab, you need to at least deal with lab incidents. If there's spillage, you need to know what to do. If there's a fire in the lab, you need to know what to do, although it's a level 1 incident. There was a case in the US where a projector, AV equipment caught fire. People didn't know what to do. They took out their handphone and they took pictures. You Google it, you will see it. Okay? So they don't know what to do, unfortunately. So know how to react to an incident. If you see somebody collapsing, you know what to do. You ought to be trained. CPR, trained in CPR, know how to use the AED. So these are the practical skills that I think is good to have. Know how to fight a fire, know how to attend to an injured person. In a terrorist attack, you guys know what to do. Right? In Singapore, we have this run, hide and tell. Right? Run away, go and hide. Right? And then notify the authority. So there are different things that you need to do in different situations. You ought to be trained. You need to know. So I guess your organization needs to come up with these SOPs for you so that you know how to deal with lab incident, how you deal with somebody who has collapsed, traffic accident, you know what to do, who to call and all that. So if you really do not know what to do, I guess call the emergency number. Let the professionals come quickly and help. If you can, while they are coming, administer first aid, do the necessary to mitigate the situation.
Okay. Okay. So I think this time is enough. So we thanks and we very thank you for your information, and then we give applause to Dr. Peck.
Prosedur kami, kita punya jenis-jenis keadaan darurat yang ada di Universitas Indonesia. Kemudian ada tier response atau response level emergency. Kemudian dan mekanisme notification. If there is accident happen or emergency occur, there are notification and mechanism. Dan persyaratan kompetensi yang harus dimiliki oleh petugas respon. So definisi keadaan darurat adalah keadaan yang membahayakan jiwa, yang mengancam keselamatan jiwa dan harus dikendalikan, dan cara mengendalikannya adalah dengan melakukan respon. Nah, dengan pengenalan keadaan darurat, kita berharap keadaan tidak semakin buruk dan keparahan tidak semakin meningkat. So we have 7 emergency in our campus. First is fire and falling tree, and earthquake, medical emergency, traffic accident, and laboratory accident, and drowning. As you know that we have lakes, kita punya danau sehingga kita punya potensi keadaan darurat tenggelam. Ini adalah kategorisasi keadaan darurat di kampus kita. We have 3 level of emergency. Yang pertama itu adalah level 1, keadaan darurat level 1. Itu keadaan darurat yang bisa ditangani oleh unit kerja atau area kerjanya masing-masing. Misalnya dalam satu area kelas misalnya terjadi kebakaran, namun bisa dipadamkan oleh mahasiswa. Itu masuknya level 1. Dan itu nanti dilaporkan kepada OSHE commander atau komando di area fakultas. Nah, jika tidak bisa ditangani maka naik ke level 2 atau naik ke tier 2. Nah, tier 2 ini adalah saat dimana suatu unit kerja tidak mampu melakukan pemadaman atau melakukan respon terhadap keadaan darurat, sehingga dia panggil tim dari UPTK3 atau panggil tim dari PLK untuk meminta bantuan. Jadi tier 1 adalah saat masih bisa dikendalikan oleh unit kerja masing-masing. Tier 2 saat meminta bantuan yang lebih luas lagi ke baik dari UPTK3, planning satelit ataupun security. Dan tier 3 adalah saat dimana semua sumber daya yang ada di kampus UI tidak mampu menanggulangi keadaan darurat tersebut. Itu kita bilangnya crisis management. Crisis management itu kita butuh bantuan dari eksternal, misalnya panggil damkar atau panggil Basarnas. Ini adalah organizational chartnya. Jadi untuk yang level 1 itu nanti dipimpin oleh OSHE commander atau petugas respon keadaan darurat yang ada di unit kerjanya masing-masing. Kemudian di situ adalah melakukan respon terhadap 7 keadaan darurat yang tadi saya jelaskan. Jadi ada potensi keadaan daruratnya 7, kemudian untuk tier 1 akan direspon oleh petugas lapangan atau tactical response team. Kemudian jika naik ke level 2 maka akan disupport oleh insiden commander. Itu insiden commander bisa Ibu Prof. Fatma Lestari atau mungkin Ibu Dekan yang ada di fakultas jika terjadi di level fakultas. Kemudian unit kerja yang berpartisipasi untuk aktif adalah planning satelit, logistik, facility, security, finance, and OSHE unit kita UPTK3L. Jadi saat suatu keadaan darurat naik ke level 5 maka response team yang bekerja adalah IMT, dan seterusnya naik ke level lebih tinggi maka nanti akan dipimpin oleh Pak Rektor atau Pak Wakil Rektor. This is for emergency emergency response team. Ini tim taktis, tim taktikal yang akan melakukan penanggulangan keadaan darurat. Ini dipimpin oleh OSHE commander. OSHE commander itu melakukan respon terhadap 7 keadaan darurat yang tadi saya sampaikan. Kemudian jika terjadi eskalasi atau peningkatan keadaan darurat maka yang aktif adalah insiden manajemen tim yang diketuai oleh Kepala UPTK3 atau didelegasikan kepada DIN atau dekannya. Nah, nanti dekan akan mengaktifkan di bawahnya IT, kemudian facility, kemudian unit-unit lainnya yang bisa mensupport untuk respon keadaan darurat. Kalau insiden medis maka kita sudah panggil planning satelit. Oke, untuk yang crisis level dipimpin oleh rektor atau wakil rektor. Nah, ini eskalasinya sudah semakin tinggi, maka yang membantu nanti adalah external relation atau humas kita. Jadi biasanya penanggulangan terhadap media atau kemudian biasanya kalau insiden yang besar itu pasti attract media ya. Jadi sudah levelnya oleh humas. Kemudian juga jika diperlukan legal officer atau BLH di tempat kita. Kemudian juga jika melibatkan pegawai akan ada melibatkan SDM. Kalau dengan mahasiswa maka melibatkan student affair. if there is happen to our staff, our human resource will be come to help, and if there is happen to student, the student affair will help too. Nah, ini adalah fokus keadaan darurat kita saat ini, ada 7 keadaan darurat, dan kita memiliki upaya untuk bagaimana caranya untuk bisa merespons setiap keadaan darurat yang terjadi. Karena proteksi yang pertama kita lakukan adalah perlindungan jiwa, aset, lingkungan, dan reputasi, dan kemudian keberlangsungan bisnis. Kita sudah punya notification for emergency calling 14001, kita telepon 14001, and we also have an application at Google Play Store and App Store, aplikasi di Google Play Store dan App Store, UI Panic Button. Mahasiswa udah punya? So do you have the application? Raise your hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So I encourage you guys to download this application because in case of emergency you can call us and our response team will come to you and give you your help. So aplikasi ini tuh melibatkan 3 unit. Aplikasi ini melibatkan PTK3L, kemudian security, kemudian klinik. Kemudian cara lapornya pertama bisa langsung ke petugas. Kalau misalnya di fakultas ada insiden bisa langsung panggil Pak security, bisa membantu. Kemudian kalau ketemu petugas K3 fakultas juga bisa membantu. Nah, kalau tidak menemukannya bisa telepon 14001 atau tekan panic button. Nanti akan ada petugas yang akan merespon dan telepon kami balik. Nah, ini caranya. Pertama kamu download di aplikasi App Store dan Play Store. Kemudian kamu isi aplikasinya, Bapak Ibu isi aplikasinya, kemudian masukkan nomor telepon. Karena saat memencet panic button kita harus call back, kita harus tahu emergensinya apa. Misalnya salah satu mahasiswa mencet aplikasi, kemudian dia telepon balik, emergensinya apa? Kalau emergensi medical emergency tentu kita tidak bawa alat yang tidak relevan. Gitu. Jadi kalau misalnya pencet aplikasi tersebut, kemudian nanti petugas akan telepon balik. Ini adalah insiden command post yang kita miliki. We have monitors and emergency line number and call forward phone. Jadi ini adalah kondisi ruangan emergency kita. Jadi ada layar, kemudian ada 4 line telepon which can work parallel. Jadi kalau ada 4 emergency, 4-4-nya bisa direspon. Jadi nggak satu telepon kemudian yang lainnya nggak blok, enggak. Terus kemudian kita punya call forwarding. Jadi kalau petugasnya lagi ke toilet atau pergi kemana, telepon nggak angkat, maka akan masuk ke telepon petugas. Jadi tetap akan direspon. Kemudian kita mencatat setiap panggilan yang masuk. So ini caranya tadi panggilan langsung, kemudian ini cara menghubungi petugas. Jadi bisa lihat videonya. So we call emergency number and the line will be turned on. Ini cara panggil dengan 14001. Dan menekan panic button. Pertama isi nomor telepon, kemudian login, terus kemudian kamu bisa download, bisa press the button. So you can press the button. Mereka menawarkan mau telepon apa enggak, kalau enggak juga nggak apa-apa, nanti kita akan hubungin kamu. Nah kemudian notification will be appear on our panic button monitor. Like this. Saat kamu mencet tombol, nanti di layar monitor kita akan ada notifikasi merah nama kamu dan nomor telepon sehingga kita bisa ke tempat adik mahasiswa atau kami bisa mengunjungi pegawai yang membutuhkan bantuan. Itu menjadi warna merah dan teleponnya menjadi biru. Nah ini adalah mekanisme call forward kalau nggak diangkat ke line number. Kalau nggak diangkat ke line number maka akan terhubung ke nomor pegawai kami, petugas kami. Jadi kita coba telepon terus nggak diangkat, kemudian maka nomor petugas akan bunyi. Oke. Setelah itu, setelah diberi beberapa kali tidak ada respon, maka telepon petugas yang akan mendapatkan panggilan seperti itu. Ya, konfirmasi status emergency respon. Kalau emergency responnya sudah dikendalikan,
menanggulangi, maka status ini bisa dirubah menjadi oke dan sudah ditangani. Jadi dari yang merah berubah jadi hijau. Ya, ini statusnya ditanya apakah sudah ditangani. Jika sudah, maka statusnya berubah. Dan asosiasi layanan kader ini sudah disosialisasikan oleh facility unit. Jadi setiap kegiatan mahasiswa yang berizin dicantumkan nomor keadaan darurat. Dan kita juga sudah sosialisasikan ke acara Kamaba di setiap mahasiswa baru. Dan kita juga memasukkan informasi ini ke flyer sosialisasi keadaan darurat. Jadi nomornya 14001 atau 14001 bisa di-download di aplikasi Google Play Store ataupun App Store UI Panik Button. Ini adalah contoh sosialisasi speaker yang ada di kampus. Di sebelah ini proses notifikasinya. Tier 1 jika terjadi keadaan darurat direspon oleh petugas, bisa ditangani atau tidak. Kalau bisa maka selesai. Kalau tidak bisa ditangani maka aktivasi ke tier 2, minta bantuan ke K3L atau ke PLK atau ke klinik satelit, maka aktivasinya adalah tier 2. Jika bisa diselesaikan maka selesai. Jika tidak maka akan naik ke tier selanjutnya dan dilakukan respon melibatkan pihak eksternal. Ini adalah pelatihan-pelatihan yang kita adakan di K3L, kemudian masuk dalam prosedur kita. Kalau pelatihan-pelatihan ini adalah untuk petugas respon maupun untuk mahasiswa yang ingin belajar. Demikian pemaparan terkait sosialisasi emergency management. Terima kasih.
Paparan yang sangat menarik. Saya dan Pak Budiawan langsung install panic button. Mau nelpon takut geger karena 50 di sini semua, ntar di sana bingung. Ya, terima kasih Bu Devi atas presentasinya. Silakan pada penanya. Ya, Dr. Dewi. Ya, mau pakai mic sini atau ke situ?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mohon maaf bahasa Indonesia. Ya, Bu Devi tadi presentasinya sangat bagus sekali. Cuman saya agak sedikit bimbang gitu. Bagaimana dengan teman-teman mahasiswa dan staf yang memang lokasinya bukan di Depok. Jadi kayak kami ini kan adanya di Salemba. Apakah panic button seperti yang diberikan informasinya itu juga bisa berlaku gitu? Dan kalau memang tidak ada sistem yang seperti itu, berarti untuk istilahnya crisis management kalau ada apa berarti kemana ya gitu. Karena terus terang saja kan tim K3L dari kita ini kan memang hanya untuk di FK-nya saja, kita tidak ke Salemba 4-nya seperti itu. Jadi mohon penjelasannya. Terima kasih.
Apakah ada pertanyaan lagi? Sambil menunggu langsung jawab.
Ya, terima kasih Dr. Dewi mengenai pertanyaannya. Untuk saat ini aplikasi panic button memang di lock di area kampus UI untuk menghindari yang mencet itu nggak relevan dari Sumatera atau dari Kalimantan, karena kan aplikasinya di open di Play Store atau App Store. Untuk sementara memang aplikasi ini baru ada di Depok, area Depok. Kalau Salemba kami persilakan menghubungi petugas K3L fakultas yang berada di Salemba atau meminta bantuan dari klinik satelit yang ada di Salemba. Dan kemudian untuk medical emergency itu lebih mudah juga kalau ke RCM ya Bu ya. Kalau misalkan Depok saat ini kan rumah sakit pendidikan belum melayani secara umum gitu ya. Jadi memang kita butuh untuk diangkut korbannya keluar jika klinik satelit tidak bisa menangani. Jadi Ibu Prof mungkin bisa menambahkan.
Iya, saya mau menambahkan, kebetulan di sini ada Prof Ganjar, jadi mau langsung nembak aja. Prof Ganjar, gimana kalau UI panic button-nya kita expand sampai ke Salemba ya? Setuju ya Prof ya?
Gimana Prof?
Soalnya ini fasilitas dari DPPF gitu Bapak Ibu.
Prof Fatma termasuk ke Cikini, Pegangsaan Timur itu juga wilayah UI. Ya, Prof Ganjar, terima kasih. Iya, siswanya banyak kata Dr. Dewi di PGT juga ya. Itu ada S2, S1, S2 di situ. Via S2 di situ ya. Baik, ada penanya lagi? Ya, silakan.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Arif dari Emegency KSDM. Kebetulan saya menjabat sebagai PJ K3 juga. Saya rasa ada yang perlu ditambahkan dalam kode darurat tanggap darurat ini. Misalnya seperti gangguan keamanan atau gangguan bom, ancaman bom, seperti itu. Terus ya itu aja sih, cukup. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Arif atas masukannya. Itu kode untuk keadaan darurat ya? Ya, mungkin kedepannya bisa di-develop seperti itu. Namun untuk saat ini kami mencantumkan nomor telepon sehingga kita call back untuk menanyakan what's your emergency, emergency-nya apa. Gitu. Jadi untuk download aplikasi ini orang yang download itu memasukkan nomor telepon sehingga kami petugas yang mendapatkan notifikasi menanyakan kembali jenis emergency-nya apa. Tapi mungkin itu saran yang sangat bagus ya Bu untuk dikembangkan pada sistem selanjutnya. Terima kasih Mas Arif.
Untuk bom threat dan aspek keamanan lain itu mungkin nanti dari PLK ya, nanti kita akan kerjasama juga. Ya, terima kasih.
Ya, mumpung di sini ya Bu Fatma ya, semua disebutin, diajak kerjasama. Ya, silakan Ibu.
Terima kasih, saya Wiwin dari FKUI. Mungkin menambahkan apakah di pedoman yang krisis manajemen atau yang mungkin tadi SMK3 di pintu masuk dari arah Salemba, saling masuk itu mungkin mau ditambahkan rambu-rambu ya Prof ya, karena seringnya motor ataupun mobil itu dengan kecepatan yang lumayan, sehingga beberapa kali saya sendiri mengalami pernah akan terserempet sepeda motor karena memang terkadang itu cepat sekali. Kira-kira itu aja yang untuk masuk dari arah Salemba menuju ke MM belakang. Kira-kira itu, terima kasih.
Ibu terima kasih atas masukannya, akan kami catat, kemudian akan kami tindak lanjuti ya Bu, kami diskusikan dengan unit facility juga.
Ya, mungkin karena tidak ada path untuk jalan ya, harusnya kan orang jalan ya ada tempatnya. Mungkin bisa ditindaklanjuti berkaitan dengan health and safety juga. Wiwin dari FKUI, terima kasih. Prof Fatma tadi masih ada waktu. Ya, jadi kalau bisa saya simpulkan apa yang tadi disampaikan oleh Bu Devi berkaitan dengan kesiapsiagaan dan tanggap darurat di UI, kita sudah punya Emergency Response Team, Incident Management Team, dan Crisis Management Team. Yang ketiganya ini saya rasa harus didiseminasi, diinformasikan ke seluruh fakultas. Ini baru ya, ini oke, jadi ini adalah grand launching yang nantinya akan masuk ke fakultas-fakultas, karena kayak kami di FKM 2 minggu yang lalu ada kejadian mahasiswa yang ternyata kecelakaan tunggal yang matanya sampai dioperasi dan sebagainya karena dia bajunya kena motor, kesangkut di motor. Sehingga itu direspon dengan cepat sekali oleh tim K3L UI. Kami yang di FKM malah nggak tahu, dapat kabarnya malah dari Prof Fatma. Jadi luar biasa ini upaya untuk kesiapsiagaan dan tanggap darurat sehingga bisa meminimalisir. Kita kenalan dulu ya. Tim dan juga mungkin Pak Ganjar selaku pemberi fasilitas ya, yang memberikan fasilitas kepada UI untuk masing-masing fakultas juga ke K3L UI. Dengan demikian sesi terakhir dari kesiapsiagaan dan tanggap darurat kami tutup. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
membantu untuk souvenir bagi para pembicara dan juga moderator. Untuk yang tadi penanya, kalau nggak salah 2 sesi tadi belum diberikan juga souvenir, tinggal sesi terakhir ya? Tinggal sesi terakhir, 3 penanya terakhir mohon maju ke depan juga untuk pemberian souvenir. Pemberian souvenir ini akan diberikan oleh Bapak Dr. Anton, Bapak Prof Ganjar. Kami mohon kesediaannya untuk maju ke depan, Prof Ganjar, untuk memberikan souvenir kepada para pembicara dan moderator serta para penanya. Ada Ibu Devi, Bu Robiana, kita beri aplaus dulu untuk Mbak Devi dan Pak Devi. Banyak permintaan ya tadi Prof Ganjar ya, mudah-mudahan segera direalisasikan. Terima kasih. Ya untuk moderator Ibu Robiana Monjo kami berikan juga souvenir. Iya, terima kasih banyak. Pak Anom, Bapak Dr. Anom. Kemudian untuk para penanya, terima kasih untuk Ibu Thian dari MKKK. Untuk para penanya, Bu Dewi, Dr. Dewi, penanya di sesi terakhir tadi, Ibu Dr. Dewi, kemudian 2 penanya lagi. Maaf tadi, para penanya yang terakhir tadi. Siapa lagi selain Bu Dewi? Oh, Bu Wiwin ya, Bu Wiwin dan Mas Arif. Bu Wiwin, monggo Bu. Mas Arif. Kami mohon bantuan dari Ibu Ririn dari FKNUI untuk memberikan souvenir pada Ibu Wiwin. Apakah masih ada penanya yang belum dapat souvenir? Gak ada ya? Baik, dengan demikian kami mengucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya kepada para pembicara. We thank you very much and highly appreciated for all the speakers for this sharing session for the implementation of Occupational Health Safety and Management System and Crisis Management at MUS and also at Universitas Indonesia. Kami berharap semoga materi ini sangat bermanfaat dan so far dari materi-materi ini akan kami upload ke website K3L UI dan juga akan kami emailkan kepada para pimpinan fakultas dan petugas K3L fakultas. Kami mohon sampaikan salam dari kami dan diteruskan materi-materi ini kepada para pimpinan yang mungkin hari ini berhalangan hadir dan mohon bantuan juga untuk meneruskan informasi-informasi ini kepada rekan-rekan di fakultas dan di unitnya masing-masing. Terima kasih, kami tutup dengan demikian. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.